Yes, indeed. Blessings forever today and every day, you know? It's like every day is a day for blessings to occur. Just want to say I'm definitely happy, genuinely happy, because got my whip back. Got the whip back. Feel great. Feel amazing. It took a while. That's for sure. It took a while. Got it back. Feel amazing. Want to start by saying Merry Christmas, everyone. You know, reporting live from the border of Westchester County and New York City. Yonkers in the Bronx. And I just pulled over for a minute just to put this message out. You know, I always do my best to put out positive energy. And in line with the thumbnail and what we're talking about today, as far as blessings forever, I think when it comes down to it, I'm not the best at being able to express myself. Um, I have a lot of trauma. I have a lot of issues that prevent me from doing so. But I know when it comes to my folks, when it comes to, and I think this goes for anyone really, you know, if you have, you know, your wife, your husband, your kids, your parents, anyone that you hold dear to yourself, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to have those people in your life. And it doesn't matter that it's Christmas or any so called special occasion. Like I said, Merry Christmas to everyone. But if you have reasons, Bragg, what's up? How you doing? Welcome. To celebrate family, Mike Sparrow, that's right. Merry Christmas. And you have a reason to be able to celebrate Christmas with people. I'm good. I'm doing well. I just said to myself, you know, I'm not the best at expressing my feelings all the time. So it just so happens with me, you know, I'm fortunate enough to have my parents with me and they're alive, they're well, and they watch these. So to me, it's like, okay, if I'm not the best, because I got a whole bunch of trauma, and I'm in Yonkers, New York. You know, Merry Christmas. Hey, India's in the building. Let's go. And I may not be able, because of the trauma, it's challenging for me, it's difficult for me to express myself in certain ways. I know, likewise, Prague, they, I'm fortunate enough to have them watch these. So that's a blessing, right? It's a blessing forever. And if I'm not able to do it so well and express myself in person, then at least I have the opportunity here to leave it this way. And like I said, I'm blessed that they're still here with me. They're alive, they're well, and they watch these. So I want to say I'm chilling right now. You know, I just thought it was important for me to put this message out. And I'm really fortunate to have people in my life that have been a blessing for me, like my parents, you know? So um, the ability to actually have them watch, I want to make sure they understand that if I'm not the best at at letting them know in person always. I'm I'm putting this out there because when you watch this, just know that I'm very grateful to have my parents in my life, you know. It's I'm sorry to hear that, some Mikkel. I'm sorry to hear that. That's very unfortunate, you know. Dexter, I see you, you know. Um, uh, any comment regarding, positive energy is is a blessing. So thank you for sharing that with us, uh, Dexter. You know, and you know your name checks out perfectly. But as I was saying, I appreciate them being in my life and everything they've done for me. Like in many ways, I have screwed up a lot in life. And it wasn't because, I had a horrible upbringing. No, my parents were there. When I look back at my life, this is, I'm fortunate enough. Everything I've been through in life, I'm still breathing, I'm still here, and I'm very grateful to have made it this far in life. And on top of that, I made it this far in life, meaning I'm still breathing and my parents are still with me, How awesome is that? And to know that, I screwed up so much in life and it wasn't because of them. Because a lot of times people will say, where were the parents at? Or, you know, the parents didn't do a good job. Nope. I can be totally practical and realistic and say, no, it wasn't them. It was me, you know? So looking back, everything I went through and knowing that they did an amazing job and I I credit them for a lot in life, you know. They did the best they could and I'm very very fortunate that that happened. The way they did it, I look at them like, shoot, you know, there's a lot of things a lot of us can look towards others and see like really powerful characteristics and assets that people have as far as like how they go about life and what they do and how they stuck together and you know through thick and thin through everything and I look up to them in a lot of ways and like the thumbnail and the title of this live says, it's what's up, Gren? How you doing? It's a blessing forever to have people like that in your life, you know? So no matter what happens moving forward, I will always be very grateful for my mother and my father, you know? They did the most they could. They did the best they could. And I'm forever full of gratitude in my heart. And I wanted to put that out there. So whenever they see this, I want you to know, like, I'll always feel this anywhere I go, whatever happens in life. And I also want to put out that you don't have to worry about me anymore. You know. Greetings, some chill. Welcome, welcome. And I'm good. I'm good forever now. I'm, I, you did what you could. You know, I I struggled in the beginning. I had to find my footing. I went through a lot, and you don't ever have to worry about me again, you know, because I got myself right. I got I worked on myself, and you were always there. And now, mentally, psychologically, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, I'm at a place where I have everything in balance. And You don't ever have to worry about me again. You don't ever have to think like I'm gonna screw up. I'm gonna like, is he gonna get in trouble? Because I've been getting in trouble since I was 11 years old, you know? So I know as a parent, you got to think like, damn, is he gonna do it again? You know? But sometimes people, they turn their lives around. And if I've ever been sure about anything in life, I know I turned myself around, you know? So you don't ever have to worry about me. I got it. From this point on, it took me long enough, but I got it. And that's for sure. I'm completely confident moving forward. So on a lighter note, I think that's what I wanted to put out as far as blessings forever to them. You know, you always, I don't know what they're gonna do. Maybe they're gonna share this to their friends and family. Who knows? But I I wanted to make sure they understood that they did the best they could, and I acknowledge it. And I know that I will always speak highly of them. You know, they always proved it over time that they did what they were supposed to do as parents. Like if parents have a duty to their children, my parents came through and did what they were supposed to do. That's what I know. So moving on, with that out the way, I just wanted to say I'm very happy because, I pulled over. I had my whip back. I waited, seems like forever, I didn't have my whip all this time. I'm so happy now that I'm back on the road. I'm hoping I could get like however long, and 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 we make it happen. I'm very, very happy with that. Other than that, this always happens when, it doesn't happen from me like working out or like where you would think it would happen. But, and it sounds like a joke, but it's really serious. Like I literally pulled my left butt cheek, and it never fails. Like whenever like you would think you sprain your ankle from like, you were playing basketball or you were dancing or you were doing something, right? No, I get hurt from sleeping incorrectly. Like I literally pulled my left butt cheek from just sleeping funny. And it's, if I get a crick in my neck or if I sprain my ankle or if something weird happens, it's always because I slept. It's like weird, And like I said, it sounds crazy, but I pulled my left butt cheek. It's almost like a saying, right? It's like one of like, sounds like a meme, like, and you have like my face saying like one of those weird faces, but I pull my left butt cheek sleeping weird. And so now it's like every time I get out the vehicle, I'm walking funny, all diddy, I want all the smoke, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But other than that, I'm happy, got the whip. Yeah, probably take like 2 or 3 days before it feels like when like you pull your groin or you pull like a weird place where it's like you can't even walk because every step you take is like it's grimacing, like you're in pain, And like it'd be something if I like, I was doing squats heavy and like something went and I like did it that way, or like, no, I get this every time from sleeping weird. Like I might have like been in a weird position, and then when I woke up momentarily, it's like, oh, what's that pain? And I'm feeling it, and I'm like, oh, because this has happened before. I might have sprained my ankle, I might have woke up with a neck crick, or like something's off with my shoulder or whatever. It's because of the alignment. Like if my alignment is off when I'm asleep, forget it. Like it throws everything off. So it's one of those things. And now it's like I'm having trouble walking. And it's probably going to be like 2 or 3 days before, that resolves itself. So it is what it is. And otherwise, Uh-oh, who's this? Okay. So, I do my best, even though like I'm a certain age. Like I feel youthful. I can't hide the fact that like I'm not youthful, but it's things like but you know what? Honestly, like when I was 29 years old, this was happening to me. It's just one of those things with my body, like how my alignment is. Like if I sleep funny, if the pillow is not the right fluffiness, like if it's too fluffy, it'll throw my neck alignment off, and I'll wake up like with like something's gonna go off, you know. So for me, it's not necessarily age related. For me, it's just like all it'll take is just sleeping the wrong way, and forget it, you know. But I guess it's a good thing that I don't get hurt from actually training. I only get hurt this weird way. So, yeah. Other than that, like, I just want to wish everyone Merry Christmas. And, you know, for all the people that want to come in with poopy energy and troll, Merry Christmas to you as well. And for all the people that have beautiful energy, you know, I square that to you all. Otherwise, yeah, like I said, I wanted to touch on a few points. The main one being to my parents, which I did, and otherwise, I'm very ecstatic to get back on the road. I think 2026 is going to be amazing for us. I think it's going to be incredible. Elric, it took me like 5.5 years. I wasn't swerving you. Sometimes there's a whole bunch of you know trolling, so I gotta like quickly scan and see, because I'm just gonna swerve the trolls. Because you're clearly looking for an audience, and you're not gonna get it. So you're not gonna get it from me, and chances are you're looking for an audience to ha ha he with you, and you're probably not going to get that neither. So it's going to actually bore you, and then you're going to be so bored, and you're going to be like, "Yo, this crowd is whack. I'm just going to leave," because your attention span is that short. So it is what it is. Yeah, Elric, it took me about 5.5 years from my for that came in. So no, I'm not going to block anyone, Gren. I'm just not going to do that. I want people to, show their true colors. You know, your name is there, right? So it's like you're showing yourself. You're showing how you are. If you lead with negativity, then that's just how you are. You just come into a cipher, and it's just like, imagine. I say this all the time. Like, if we're having a private conversation and a person comes out of nowhere and is like, "Yo, I can't stand the way your nose looks," it's like, it's weird energy. So if someone comes in and is just like coming in with weird disruptive energy, you're eventually going to bore yourself out of here. So that's just what it comes down to. Otherwise, like, yeah, New Jersey in the building. As far as the honesty, listen, I'm a screw up, and I don't really need to like say I'm anything I'm not. I'm a screw up. I've turned my life around, and I'm good. And I know that I'm not ever going to sell anything to anyone, so I'm not dependent on any one of you all. I'm not selling you anything. So I'm going to be myself. I'm going to come in here every single day as best as I can, as positively as I can. And you can't ever hold me to like a high standing, because I've been a screw up for a long time, and I've worked on it to turn myself around. So being on live stream doesn't make me say like, "Oh, you know what? I need to hide how I was a screw up in life." No, it doesn't. Like, a lot of people have a lot of skeletons in their closet that they're not going to air out. And I'm not going to air out every skeleton of mine either. I just know that when I was talking, with this in this live stream as a message to my parents, I just know it wasn't my parents that were responsible for me being a screw up. It was me. And now they don't have to worry because I turned that around. That was the whole point, you know? So, and my parents are good, you know? They like, imagine as a parent, if you have kids and you look at your kids and you want your kids to do as well as they can in life, and then your kids finally get to, maybe it was rough in the beginning because they had to learn lessons and they had to go through whatever they did, but they eventually got their footing and they got to a place where it's like, my kids are good. Like now I can talk about my kids in like whoever I talk to about my children, and whether you want to brag about them, whatever you want to say, you know, but you're happy because your kids winded up doing it. So it's like, you know, mama, I did it. Like, pops, I did it. Like, I'm here now. You know, it doesn't matter what I went through or how much of a screw up I was in life because I turned it around and I'm here now. That's what's important. Like, I'm alive, I'm breathing, I'm healthy. Maybe not my left butt cheek, but I'm good, you know? So we're good now, you know, and that's what it was all about. Otherwise, like, yeah, as far as like dirty laundry, if you hear me say like I screwed up in life, that's not me being shocking, you know, because I don't need to go into details every single little and bigger instance of how and where I screwed up in life. Just know that it was rocky. But who hasn't screwed up in life in some way or another? No one here is a saint, right? No one doesn't have things that they did in life that they're maybe not so proud of, right? I can't turn those things around. So, like, there's no point in airing out any type of laundry specifically. Because if I can have people come in here and lead with negative energy, imagine like any little bit of incentive they have, they're just gonna latch onto it and like come in like repeatedly trying to like use it against you, you know, because that's how nasty energy moves. Like you lead with negativity. So it's like, why should I give you that power? You know, because then it's going to be like, I got to swerve more, you know, and I did that to myself. So I'm not going to do that. So at the same point, it's like, you know, Owen, what's up? How you doing? I just think that at the same time, I'm not going to come in here and say I'm this, I'm that. No, I'm not. Like if if I start from anywhere, I'm going to start from the bottom and work myself up. You know, you're not going to hear me say I'm up here and I'm going to stay up here and move up higher. No, I'm starting from a low point so that like you can't really push me lower. And the reason I said money and the fact that I'm not charging anyone anything is that like you don't have leverage on me, you know? You don't if I'm not selling you anything, then like I always think to myself like and that's why I got out of a lot of things I was involved with. Like I have an LLC. I even have, you know, investments that directly take, you know, from others. If you have an investment property and you're a landlord, you are taking from someone else. Like chances are here in the US, you're taking 60 to 70% of someone's earnings if you're a landlord, right? So me personally, I understand business wise, if you're providing a service or if you're a landlord, if you're a property owner, and that's just how it is, or if you're a CEO to a company, like you're probably going to take a ridiculous amount of the profit, right? And then you'll have different entry levels of people that are getting scraps. Unfortunately, that's just the way it operates, right? But me, I don't I don't want to be a part of any of that. Like, I don't feel good taking 60, 70% of a person's earnings per month where they're living paycheck to paycheck, right? Doesn't matter that I was in a position to be able to do that. I don't want to charge people because I'm a trainer or I have my own business, et cetera, like ridiculous amounts of people because I have certifications, et cetera, and I have a lot of experience. And then I just charge people out the yang where they can barely afford it, but they know this is the going rate, like lawyers and doctors, et cetera, plumbers, engineers. No, I didn't want to be a part of that. So likewise, here in YouTube land, I'm not going to collect a YouTube check, monetize this channel. I'm not going to sell merch. I'm not going to be part of a Patreon or a Discord or a monthly subscription or any of that. So there's no leverage. And I'm already starting from a bottom point. So it's like, what can you say to me? You can't say anything. So if I'm it's like Eminem in 8 Mile, right? It's like when he comes out with bars basically saying like, I am this, I am that, I am that. And you keep saying, I am everything you say I am, right? It's like, what can you say to that afterwards? You have no leverage. And that's what I mean. So that's why I say everything I say, Oh, there's a lot of comments going on here, a lot of Bible and Jesus references, the Lord, God. Hey, I always say, if whatever people want to talk about, feel free to speak about whatever you want to speak about. There's certain things, not only because I think certain topics are like sensitive topics, like religion, like politics, like sometimes sexual orientation, human rights. There are a lot of topics that are touchy and sensitive to chat about. And me personally, I tread carefully with those topics, not because I'm fearful, but I always say here in YouTube land, this is a platform that is very sensitive. It could be like, however it is, whether it's, words that are being typed, things that are being said. Likewise, if I'm over here cursing every 5 seconds, YouTube is privy to, whatever YouTube wants to do. And I know it's supposed to be automatic and everything is based off of algorithms, but at the same time, it's like, I want you all to have an unmoderated, free flowing freedom of speech in saying whatever you want to talk about. Like, that's not going to be banned or, booted or any of that. I want you all to like say whatever you want to say. And it's always going to be like that. You all can talk about like whatever you want to talk about. And it's not ever going to be restricted. As long as like within my power, within this channel, we do live streams, we do whatever, say whatever you want to say, positive or negative. It doesn't matter, The beard took Wigby, the beard took like this most recent time about 5.5 years. That's how long it took me. I feel great, life lit, and it's not just because it's Christmas. It's just because, I feel good that I'm able to shout out my parents, and I know they're probably going to watch maybe at some point at normal hours. And, I wanted to like give a heartfelt shout out to my parents, and I did. So I was very happy about that. I'm happy that I got my vehicle back and I'm in it right now. I'm driving. So I'm very happy about that. And the fact that it's Christmas is just an extra, it's just an extra ribbon or bow on top of it all, So I'm happy about all that. Gren, I'm in Yonkers, New York. I'm on the border of Yonkers and the Bronx, New York City. That's where I'm at. uh, Yeah, lifeless. I mean, that's why and I understand. Yeah, Peter. I mean, it is what it is, right? I understand lifeless. Like, not everyone, and that's why I know it's a blessing, because not everyone has that blessing. That's why, like, the title of this live stream is Blessings Forever, because I feel so fortunate to have that. And I understand that not everyone has that. But if you have a son, you have a daughter, you have cousins, you have friends, you have family, you have siblings, you have anyone who you really respect and love, make sure you cherish them. And, any which way you can. Like, I'm not so great at being able to verbalize this, maybe in person, like I'd like to. But I'm fortunate enough to know that I have them and they watch these. So, and that's another reason why I tread carefully, right? I don't want to go, be reckless, and my mouth is reckless already. So, I don't need to go crazy when I know my parents watch this. And, you know, the fact of the matter is, I this is my way of being able to give, my parents not just a shout out so they can see and hear how I value their lives and their time at a very high level, but at the same time to make sure they know I'm good for the rest of my life and the rest of theirs, you know. I appreciate the compliment, Barry. Yeah, it got to a point where I was just like, cause as you can see, if you've been in this live stream long enough, you already know that there are people that come in here and they're like, they give like vomit emojis and they're like, oh, your beard is nasty, this, that, and the other. When I first started growing this beard, there were a lot of people, because I cut this beard 3 different times, and every time I cut it, I would cut it right here, boop, and then it's like I had no beard again. So I did that 3 different times. But this most recent time, it's been 5.5 years, and it literally goes all the way down to my knees. So in the beginning, people were like, don't do it, don't do it. You're going to look like a terrorist, or girls are not going to like you, or like, it was always something. And I was like, listen, if people don't respect me or like me for who I am, then those are not the type of people I want in my life. I don't want those type of people around me. They're going to respect me for how I am, who I am, how I think, the way I am, all of that, So now, years later, the same people that were crapping on me, I see them on their socials and look at what I'm seeing. They literally grew their beards out. Like, isn't that something? You were trying to get me to cut my beard or not have me grow my beard, and you're over here growing your beard years later because you're following the crowd. I've been doing this since forever, before growing beards was even a thing, you know? And I'm not talking about just 5.5 years ago, because remember, I cut this 3 different times. So the whole point of that is just go with your gut, Like, whatever you feel like you want to do, as long as it's, within your heart to say, this is what I want to do, and you're not harming others, and, you're relatively productive and positive, stay with it, and that's what I say. So I'm not gonna cut it, folks. Yeah, that's sad. This sad to hear. My condolences on what happened there, Wig. You know, what, about 7 years ago now, right? But yeah, and life lit. That's a hell of a long time. That's a crazy long time. You know, but that's also a very sad situation. You know, I hope, if he's not already paroled, I hope he's let out. And I hope you rekindle with him on a more personal level, you know. Ooh, Gren, Cali, Long Beach in the building. That's that's awesome, you know. That's awesome. California's in the building. And Maryland, let's go. Yeah, it's definitely cold out here. It's literally 33 degrees. I'm on the border of Yonkers and the Bronx, so I would say it's probably like 2 degrees, a little deeper in the BX. But yeah, Cali, it must be it must be warmer over there than it is over here because we're like right on the border of freezing out here, you know. So we're in the 30s, and this whole week is the low temperatures at these times, especially because it's a quarter to 3 in the morning right now out here. So it's it's definitely chilly out here, chilly willy, you know. But like I said, you know, it's a beautiful thing to have the whip back and be able. Yeah, I figured it'd be like, you know, a good 20 degrees warmer out there, you know. Yeah, 3 hour difference. But you know, it's just one of the things about New York that we have to deal with. I swear to you, if New York had like at least kind of like what Georgia has or like what Mississippi has, temperature wise, oh man, like. But there's always something, right? It's always going to be something. Like I wish I had this, or I wish I had that. Like we don't, you know. So it's like we gotta be happy and grateful for what we do have, you know. All right, thank you for checking in, Life Lit. I appreciate your time and Merry Christmas and have an awesome, you know, Christmas Day when you wake up, you know, and the same to your family and friends. But yeah, I just know New York winters are quite severe. That's for sure. They are tough. I think moving forward, and I like YouTube. You know, I've been growing my beard this most recent time. YouTube blue butterflies for the last 5.5 years. So, um, likewise, like take care. And I think moving forward over the next, and I'm going to, like I said, I like YouTube, and knowing that I'm not chasing numbers, I'm not chasing engagement, views, subs, any of that stuff. You won't ever hear me talking about sub to this channel, like, any of that stuff. You feel like you want to do that? Take care, Wigby. Thank you for coming through. If you want to do any of that stuff, you already know what it is. You know, you all have been in YouTube before. You know exactly what, people say. And if it helps the algorithm or any of that stuff, great. If it doesn't, I'm not chasing it. And it really helps when you have that mentality where you're not chasing engagement like most people do. And at the same time, you don't have a goal of monetizing the channel, right? So that's why, like I say, I really like YouTube because I'm not out for engagement. I'm not trying to get monetized. I'm not trying to sell anything. So when you put all those things together, it's like I like just showing up and, like I like just, this is like a live journal. Like early on, I was talking about my parents, right? I put that out there. It's like even if no one was here, right? After I like post this, there'll probably be like 1,000 views. And that's amazing. And that's awesome. Like a 1,000 people stopped by and like heard me ramble about my parents, you know? And that's great. But it really was for my parents, you know? And then at the same time, I'm going to be just, I might be venting, I might be just whatever it is. It's like a journal. It's like a public journal. And I hold myself accountable here. And then whenever I do things that I think are interesting, I just put it out there, you know? If someone gets something out of it, if there's motivation, if there's some sort of inspirational energy that sparks something from within someone else, then it's like cool, you know? But at the same time, it's like I do see, because I really started, like, I've had this channel for a little bit of time, but I really started focusing on this channel over the last year. And I had 100 subscribers like 12 months ago. I now have 1,300 subscribers. And I did that in 1 year. So I did 1,200 subscribers in 1 year completely organically, you know? So something's working. Obviously, something is working, right? Now, am I chasing it? No. And I think moving forward, I want to be able to. I was talking about winters out here in New York are quite harsh. I want to spend winters in like warmer places. And if someone had trolling energy talking about, I'm sleeping in my car, but no, I'm talking about like I want to winter out in like maybe a tropical place. So like November, December, January, February, I spend that time in a tropical environment, and then I come back here where I love to be, which is New York, you know? And during that time, appreciate it, Zuka. During that time where I'm like, camping out in another place, guess what? I like YouTube. So I'm gonna like show like, because the only tropical place we have out here in the continental US is Florida, right? And it's not even truly tropical, it's subtropical. And then like the Keys are like the closest thing we have to maybe like subtropical tropical, but it's still not technically even tropical over there. The only place is so secluded, and that's Hawaii as far as the state, right? So I'll be in another country, and I'll be given a perspective from a native New Yorker's point of view. I'll be like a foreigner, but I won't have to deal with a brutal and harsh New York winter, and it should be amazing. So if I'm in a nice warm place in those 4 months, those 4.5 months, I'm gonna be here in YouTube like talking about it because I'm extremely curious, and I'm gonna be roaming around where the coconuts are, and I'm gonna be like, hey, look at this, like look at this lizard, or look at how these people are, or like you look at the language or whatever's going on, and I'm, like I said, I like YouTube, so I want to be able to share like my curiosity with people. And that's why I do it. I'm not chasing a check. I'm not chasing engagement. And like I said, something is working, right? It's going up. So, if it goes up, I'm human. So if it's resonating with people, yeah, of course I like that. I treat this like a video game, like a real live video game. Like you want to get better at it. Like whether it's the algorithm or whatever it is, you do want to get better. It makes you feel good, obviously, when more people check in and more engagement is happening, as opposed to like something bombed and like, there was way less views. That doesn't feel good, right? But at the same time, it's not gonna like prevent me and then tell me like, oh, YouTube sucks. It's so hard. It's like, I want to get the YouTube paycheck. I want my channel monetized. I want this. I want them. No, I'm not chasing any of that. So it makes it easier for me, So and I really appreciate again, Merry Christmas to everyone. I appreciate, and as far as the bot channels, yeah, like I said, this is completely organic, which I love. And sometimes I go into like Reddit and I'll see like there's a YouTube subreddit where like I was reading recently how people are complaining about how like when you do a shorts, and then you get a whole bunch of engagement and you get a whole bunch of likes, subs, all of that, views, etc., and then you put a long form video out and it's like so much less, and they're like, I'm gonna stop doing shorts because I think it's messing up the algorithm or it's messing up my channel. And I beg to differ. I think it's different. Like I think the crowd, like if I was to make one flip and turn this horizontally instead of vertically, guess what? The algorithm's going to change. So like this right here, right? I guess that, right? This right here is set up like TikTok. It's set up like any like short form live stream. So you're going to get more engagement because you're actually targeting a crowd that has like you got to hold on to their interests, right? So it's like a long form, whether it's a long form video or a long form live stream, like the attention span is different. Not because these people are like dumb or like whatever. No, the crowd is different. So like I said, I beg to differ. Like you shouldn't stop doing shorts because the numbers are different. No, the long form video and the long form live stream, that's usually a crowd that will sit there for like 20 minutes straight and like be completely fine with that, as opposed to like the shorts and the shorts live streams. These are like the crowd of people that like, if you don't capture their interest in like, 7 seconds, it's like, I'm out of here, and you got to understand that. So you don't stop the shorts. No, you do the shorts, live streams, you do the long form videos, you do the long form live streams, and then you do the posts, you do everything, and understand that the numbers are going to be different for different crowds of people. So the shorts, of course, are going to give you more engagement. And the shorts, when you post the shorts, it should probably be between 20 something seconds to 40 something seconds. Because if it's not within that range and it's not super engaging, people are probably just, YouTube is just going to like not push it out because it's probably not going to do so well. You got to understand that. And at the same time, a shorts live stream is going to be different than a horizontal live stream, right? So understand the numbers are going to be different. But the crowd you get from a long form video and a long form live stream, those are the people that are probably going to stick around and watch your videos and watch your long form live streams, right? But the people that you got from doing shorts and doing shorts like this, live streams, are going to be waiting for you to do more shorts because that's what resonates with them. So you got to do all of it. Put the posts out, put everything out. That's what I think. So I'm not worried about like, okay, my long form videos are only getting a fraction of what, the shorts are getting. That's the way it's set up. That's the way the algorithm is, so different crowds. So like, I think, it's a little kind of like gloomy in some of those subreddits when you read it and it's just like, oh, I'm going to stop this. It's like screwing up my channel. And I don't think that way, People want to, yeah. And like YouTube blue butterflies, like, yeah, it's like sometimes people are like, hey, to each their own, right? People are like, they want to troll, they want to diss everyone, they want to like whatever they want to do, right? For attention. To each their own. But me, I'm pretty serious. I could joke around, I got ha ha he with people, but at the same time, very serious. If I was to compare it to like a martial artist / actor, like most people are aiming for like some form of like Jackie Chan, where I would be like Jet Li, and I'm completely fine being Jet Li. Maybe I might not get the crossover appeal of a Jackie Chan, but I'm completely fine because you're going to respect what I do and you're going to respect me. And I'll be Jet Li all day, and I'll be serious like Jet Li. And that's completely fine with me. Unsorted, yes, I am. That's a good call on your part. Whether it's with the I at the end or a double E, more old school at the end. So good call there. Leandro, what's going on? How you doing? Welcome. Hope everyone's well, But you know, I don't really. I'm not funny. You know, unsorted, right? He's asking me if I was Malayali, right? The thing about Malayali people, to my understanding, is like a lot of people in Kerala culture, like like in my videos, if you go to my videos, right? I got a lot of songs I put out there, right? In hip hop. And hip hop, like from what I see in Kerala culture, hip hop has just started recently. When I say recently, maybe over the last 10, 15 years, but I understand hip hop is like 50 years old, right? It's like been around for a long, long time, right? Over 50 years old, right? The 50-year anniversary has just passed, right? So 15 years of hip hop in Kerala, you're old, like you're catching up, right? And like maybe recently it's changing, but I see a lot of Malayalis are like basically what I was just saying, like Jackie Chan over Jet Li, right? I'm Jet Li. So if you listen to like the videos that I have here on this channel, like a lot of Malayalis do parodies, right? I'm just not into the funny stuff. Like that's just not me. Like, like cute little tacky corny lines, like that's just not me. That's just like I've had Malayalis in the past say, "Can you come out with a parody? Can you come out with something funny? You got the skills. Can you do?" No, no, that's just not me. It's not me. Like I come out with bars and I dump them straight up. That's what I do. Like it's just not in my interest to come out with parodies. I'm just not like I'm not funny like that. My humor is like dry. My humor is like, like you just have to like catch it when it happens. Like I don't go out of my way to be funny, and that's just how I am, and that's how I am with bars as well. And that's just one thing I've noticed about Malayalis. And I think more recently there's been more of an embracing of like truer to the art form, whether it's in films, etc. But you know, I like to stay true to the art form of this. Like no funny business. Calvin, thank you for stopping by. I hope your Christmas goes well, and yeah, take care, bro. Uh, yeah. As far as my beard, like I need to get it rebraided. That's for sure. I'm gonna wash it and you know get it rebraided or just rebraid it. I literally take it apart right now and rebraid it. It's not hard to braid, but I just want to wash it and do it again. You know. Um, Ashley, if you feel like it's a good time for you to go to sleep, shoot, it's 2 a.m. I don't know where you're at. There's an hour difference because it's past 3 right here. But yeah, I mean, it is kind of late, right? This is a weird hour. Like, but these are the hours I'm up. So it's one of those things. Yeah, Eker, I think 100 years. I don't know technically what like the parameters of classical is, right? Like you think about like what defines a classical language, right? That's like it's got a lot of time, right? So like classical music, hmm, I don't know because I was just talking about hip hop, right? Being over 50 years old, and that's a baby, right? Compared to jazz. So is 100 years enough to be considered classical? I don't know. That's like a that's like we'd have to research that to see what's going on. No, I don't live in out of my vehicle. I'm good. I'm literally good. If I'm over here saying, I don't need money and I don't want money and I won't ever charge you and I won't ever chase a YouTube check, I'm good. I'm definitely good. I'm on the border of New York City and Westchester County, you know? So yeah, I think jazz is definitely it's it's got some age to it. That's for sure. You know, we got to respect jazz. We have to respect the culture. We have to respect the greats, and you know, like I have a family friend. We call each other brothers. He's not really a brother of mine, but like we call each other brothers. And like he's put me on to a lot of hip hop that is like jazz influenced, you know? And I know anytime like I bring certain instruments into like the 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 feel of the music that has a jazz feel, it's like he's a sucker for that, you know? Just like I have a boy like whenever I like put visuals out and it has those little like those old like crinkles on the videos, like the old like real crinkles that you see, the little black dots and stuff, and like black and white. He's a sucker for that. So I appreciate the compliments, Jake and Lord Ronnie. ESQ, does that stand for being an attorney, a lawyer? So yeah, it's wow. It's literally almost an hour. Damn, my left butt cheek is killing me right now. As I was saying earlier in this live stream, like I literally pulled my left butt cheek. So I know when I step out of this vehicle, it's gonna hurt and I'm gonna be limping. But it is what it is, you know. But yeah, it's been almost an hour. And this whole live stream started as, a tribute to my parents and blessings forever. And it has evolved into a lot of different things, you know. Oh, that's a bit of history right there, Eker. Yeah, that's definitely a long time ago, you know. Talking about 150 years ago. That's nuts, you know. Yeah, so YouTube blue butterflies. I don't know if this person's still here, but there was someone named at unsorted underscore human and was asking if I'm Malayali. And that's what I was talking about with Malayali people and parodies and, funny kind of raps and all of that. And that person hit it on the nose, so to say, as far as um, the group of people that uh, I'm like my parents are from a state in Southeast Asia, and that's they're Malayali people from a state called Kerala, and they speak Malayalam, which is a palindrome. It's spelt forward and backwards the same way, Malayyalam. You spell that back, Malayyalam. Right? It's like a long palindrome, but yeah, those are the people. Other than that, like, I just hope everyone has an awesome, Christmas Day. And we're going to be doing this New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Every day is a holiday for me. So when I show up, yeah, that's exactly how you spell it. Exactly like that. So any Keralite or Malayali that comes in here and sees that Malayalam, they know what time it is, you know? So yeah, and I think we're going to have a truly amazing 2026. I think it's going to be phenomenal for for most of us, you know. Yeah, you can look up Kerala, Kerala, and that language is the language of Keralites who inhabit Kerala, and Malayalam is the language of Keralites. And Malayalis are the people that speak Malayalam. So, yeah, that's a bit of history there for this group of people. And I can't wait to go over there as well, you know? Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. Burger Slew, appreciate the message. Appreciate every person coming in with what they're choosing to speak about. It's amazing, you know, especially on Christmas Day. You know, DogTube, what's going on? Hopefully this is not loud when I get excited, but hope you're doing well, DogTube. Welcome, welcome. Usually I do live stream. Well, like I didn't have my vehicle for a long time, so it was a little tough. I was doing live streams in the gym. I was doing, right now I'm kind of out of commission. You know what's crazy? I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well too on this Christmas Day. I was waiting all this time to get my vehicle back, and I finally get my vehicle back today, right now, and I pulled my left butt cheek. It's like, it's unbelievable, So now it's like I was going to the gym and doing the live streams all this time when I didn't have the vehicle. And now I have the vehicle, but I'm probably going to be out of commission for the next few days going to the gym. So I don't know how long this is going to take, but I don't think it's going to heal right away. And, that's one thing I can't deny. The older you get, when you get injured, like it takes longer to heal. It takes longer for it to like go away. It's one of those things. I'm not gonna fight Father Time. It is what it is, right? Hey, I'm not a spring chicken, but I don't complain about it neither. I feel great. I feel healthy. I feel awesome, and that's what it comes down to. I hope you're doing well as well. Any person who's just coming in, welcome, greetings, Merry Christmas, and I can't wait till 2026. We're gonna have an amazing year, I had to say it twice, and you're gonna hear that throughout. Because remember, I spent the whole last year here in YouTube land, and I went hard. Like I spent a lot of time throughout these shorts. I posted videos of music, like consistently posting in the community section. I just started doing these live streams recently, and I'm gonna go hard for the upcoming year, 2026, as well. You know what I'm gonna do with these car seats now that you reminded me? I'm gonna put the warmers on. What? I just put them on right now. That warmth to my butt cheek is gonna actually help, because this just happened, right? Like what I probably should have done, because I just sprained it, is used ice. Because you like when you first get an injury, you put on ice, and then the next day you put heat. That's usually the best way to go about it. But Leandro, like I don't like I said earlier, when we were having the conversation about Malayalis and parodies with hip hop music, like I'm Jet Li, I'm not Jackie Chan, so I'm not like just happy go lucky, I'm not one of those people. Like I don't just recklessly come out here and just like fake put positive energy out, like it's all genuine. Like I won't have energy that's just like being forced, So and like if you go through the shorts that I post, I don't just show positives, I show the good, the bad, and the ugly, because it's real. So when I come through with positive and happy energy, best believe it's genuine, because I'm not like I said, I have dry humor. I don't go out of my way to be funny. I'm just not one of those people. So that goes the same with like genuine happiness and truly happy energy, and positive energy. It's always real, You'll hear a lot of people who actually know me. Sometimes they jump into these live streams. All right, cool. And if they've known me for a long time, it's almost like they try and convince people like he's one of the realest people. Well, you don't got to say that, you know. But these are people I've known for a long time. And the reason why they say that is because I don't have anything to like prove to anyone, you know. I literally spent quite a bit of time talking about how I messed up a bunch in life, right? That's not coming from a place of power, you know? That's coming from a place of being vulnerable, right? And you know, I tend to think if you put some of your like in a general way, if you put some of your vulnerabilities out, that eventually turns into a power. So are you flirting with butterflies? Is that like a pickup line to butterflies? Seem kind of cute, you know? Like I don't know if that was, but seemed like a cute little thing to say. But yeah, I do my best to stay as genuine and as real as possible, you know? So yeah, people, we're over an hour. I just I enjoy doing these. Like I said earlier, I do like YouTube, you know, and there are other platforms that because every platform has its pluses and minuses, right? And with YouTube, sometimes you have to be. I tread carefully because I kind of know how YouTube operates now that I've been doing this for a year straight, and I just like I said, YouTube is actually the last time I did a live stream, they sent like a notification before I started the live stream and suggest they were recommending like I have bots in here or I have like moderators to like kind of control the temperature of the room of the chat, and I was just like I appreciate the suggestion, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want mods. I don't like I don't ever want to say mod get rid of that person or mod ban that person or mod that person is spamming or mod. I don't want to do any of that. I want people to just, you know, freedom of speech. You want to talk about whatever you want to talk about it. Run the comments up, run the chat, flow the chat through like good, the same way I do my content, good, bad, and ugly. Talk about whatever you want to talk about, you know. So yeah, that's that's really what it comes down to. I don't even me personally, Eker, 'cause I don't know if people are familiar with your question here, but I didn't even know really much about YouTube um like early on. I didn't know really anything about any of these platforms. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and YouTube, you know? So I'm definitely not the person. Like I said, I've only started really focusing on YouTube over the last like 1 year. So okay, we missed you. And it seemed like Zernick was flirting with you. So maybe you missed Zernick's comment. Yeah, I appreciate that, Christopher. You know, I hope you go back to sleep and have, you know, good rest. And yeah, like I think freedom of speech is extremely important, you know? And so many people like they follow a format that is kind of recycled. Okay, maybe it works. Yeah, but like you have the opportunity here to be yourself completely. That's why I say I don't want to follow the blueprint that's already set. I don't want to chase engagement, views, subscribers, the numbers. I don't want to try and get a YouTube paycheck and be monetized or have subscriptions or a Patreon or a Discord or any of that stuff or sell merch. I don't want any of that. I just want to flow. I just want to be able to like talk about whatever I want to talk about because it's kind of therapeutic in a way, you know? Oh, having a cat is always awesome. So to brush a cat must be nice. Cats are always amazing creatures, for sure. Oh, I think you're talking about my beard. Like, yeah, I appreciate it. It took me 5.5 years this last time. So, yeah, that's that's something I'm at a point right now where I leave it alone. Long hair don't care, beard gang all day, right? I don't touch my beard, I don't touch my hair. I just let my hair grow long and I let my beard grow down to like past my knees. So that's literally how long it is. Like it's crazy. So yeah, I gotta regrow this thing, that's for sure. I think I just dropped something. I don't know what I dropped, but I don't I feel like I just dropped something. I have no idea what I just dropped. But I heard like it sounded like I dropped something. But yeah, that's I just feel like I want to just make sure. Like, what was that? What was that sound? I don't know. Watch. At some weird time, I'm gonna wind up finding something that is like, oh, that's what that was. You know? Yeah, cats are great. I've always liked cats. Even before people like cats. It's almost like jumping spiders. Like I loved jumping spiders before it became a thing. And it's the same thing with cats. Like I love cats before they truly became a cultural phenomenon, right? Because cats were like not as loved as dogs were for the longest. But I love cats from early on. The only thing is, like, I'm allergic to them. I really like these creatures, but I'm really allergic to them, you know? Oh, appreciate that, Christopher. Yeah, you have an awesome Christmas day as well. See you soon. And show that cat love. Yeah, George and Severus. Awesome. You know, Jumping spiders are cool. Salticidae, Phidippus, Audax, Regius, all the different species. They're awesome, for sure. I love jumping spiders. They're like little cute monkeys, of the spider world. And they have excellent vision. Awesome, awesome arachnids, that's for sure. They are predators, just like cats are, little savages as well, but they're both cute creatures, that's for sure. And cats definitely have, um, there's a reason why so many people enjoy keeping cats, you know? Yeah, bold, daring, or auspicious jumpers. They're they're beautiful, beautiful spiders. You know, in uh, in the northern hemisphere, they are both 1.1 male and females are zebra colored, and in the south, the males are zebra colored and the females are either like a reddish orangish color or sometimes all white. And they're slightly larger. Beautiful spiders for sure. You know, they have such personality. Like I said, excellent vision. So they have those like those awesome ways of kind of. It's almost like they seem so smart because of the way they process information through their eyesight. Their vision has them appearing to be incredibly intelligent, right? It's an awesome thing. And they're very like sweet as far as temperament is concerned, right? They don't want they don't have aggressive temperament towards humans. Even though they're like very very savage little predatorial hunters, but towards humans they're cute, they're awesome, you know. Are you quoting a song, Eager, or are you? I'm not very familiar. Because as far as what you were mentioning earlier on with the lonely girl, 15, I'm curious, but I'm familiar there. I'm unfamiliar there as well. I don't know exactly what that was, you know. But I used to have like I used to have jumpers. Oh, it's a poem. Cool. And I used to have so many different, like if you go through the shorts of this channel, you'll see like I post all types of like insects and animals and fish and reptiles and amphibians, etc., etc. And I stopped. Okay, cool. By William Blake. And I stopped having all these pets because I really wanted to focus more on just financial independence and freedom, you know? So that's what I did. Like, if I always, oh, okay, got it. It must be an interesting poem then. If it's about like, if it made you think about that from cats. But I always thought to myself, like, if I'm going to put this extra energy and focus into becoming financially independent, it's like, is it really fair to have pets if you're putting less effort and energy into those animals or insects? And I said to myself, like, I don't think it's fair, you know, because it would be kinder and it would be a better situation if I could put more time into these pets. It would behoove me to do so. And it would be like, it would be much better to their experience and my experience if I had more time and genuine effort that I wanted to invest into those animals and insects, etc. You know? So yeah, and wisdom, when I made the decision to, I literally dismantled everything and I gave, like I went to pet shops, I was giving away everything. Like I had a custom made fish tank that was 165 gallons, a square. I made it myself. I literally had it made. Custom stand, cherry stand, everything. Like it had multiple filters, etc. I had fish in there that were worth a lot of money. I was giving everything away. I didn't sell anything. I gave everything away. And when I went to pet shops and they were like, everyone was like, like shunning me. They were like, "Oh no, 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 we can't take that." And then I'm like, "Why not?" Like, "No, we'd only give you a little bit." It's like, I don't want anything. And then they would change their minds. They'd be like, "Oh, you don't want anything for it?" No. It's like, "Oh, okay." Then they changed their minds. Like, "Yeah, okay, we'll take it." And it was like I was doing that with everything because I wanted to focus on financial independence. you know? And that's what I put like all my effort into. And I was like, listen, I've been into animals and insects and everything since I was literally 3 years of age. I'm one of those. And to go from that to, for the first time in my life, and I'm almost 50. So imagine from 3 to 50, that's a long time to like have that kind of a run of consistency with animals and insects, snakes, etc., 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 right? Yeah, but you got to put your time into it, you know? And like I said to myself, I want to put the extra time because like you have to maintain pets, right? Whether it's fish, heaters, you know, pumps, filters, you know, lighting, food for them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You have to put a lot of time and energy into. I appreciate that, Cap, and no Cap. And I said, you know what? The extra time that I would have from not putting all that time, effort, energy, and money into these animals and insects, I could put into making sure I'm financially free. That's what I did. All I have right now is one bird, an African gray parrot, you know? And it's crazy because when I first got that bird, it was $500 for a baby. Now it costs $5,000. That's a 10x on the price of a baby bird, which is nuts. And I was about to give that bird away for free too. And, you know, I said, no, I'm going to focus on becoming financially free, you know? And that's what I did. And that's what I have been working on. And, you know, part of becoming financially free is not just the investments that you make, but your everyday habits, what you have to unlearn and what you have to relearn, you know, and the discipline and sacrifice that you have to put yourself through on a day-to-day basis. That's what's not only going to contribute to the success of financial freedom, but the maintenance of it and to get to higher places, you know? So once you get to that place, it's like, I don't have to worry about any of this stuff because I choose to put simplicity up high. So now it's like, I'm not even distracted by like, oh, I want that, or I want this, or I want to, you know, I want to go to Starbucks, or I want, you know, and whatever. No, like the discipline is so strong. It's like nothing could throw me off. You know, it's almost like if you've trained yourself nutrition wise to follow a strict regimen and you've gotten it to such a point where it's like, it doesn't matter where you go or who you're around, no one can convince you to eat other than what you eat, how you consume. No one can like dissuade you or distract you or make you go in any other direction. It's the same thing with financial matters. When you get your discipline to a certain level where if it doesn't make sense to you to spend, you're not going to do it. But then you're not just cheap and you're not just overtly frugal, because there are going to be things that you spend on because you want to spend, right? You might spend a ridiculous amount of money if it makes sense to you, right? But the frivolous little things that are kind of like distractions that you're just like, you know, everyone does, but like they add up over time and you're wasting all this time and money, that's all gone. Chalk that up to discipline. And that's what works, you know? And that takes a while, just like nutrition and the discipline with like how you choose to eat and the habits you have, like your sleep, hydration, like good healthy habits. The same thing with financial matters. In order to excel with financial freedom, like you have to practice these things every single day, and that's what's going to contribute to excellence and achieving greatness, you know? So that's what I worked on when I X'd out the pets, you know? And I donated everything. You know, I donated everything. I had crabs, I had geckos, I had, you know, you name it, snakes, whatever. I have nothing now besides the African gray parrot. So I'm happy. I'm happy. Like I continue to strive for excellence, and that takes time. That takes a lot of effort, sacrifice, and discipline, such as life, with pretty much everything you choose to engage yourself in whatever way, whatever path you're setting yourself out to be and walk through, and yeah. So usually I wind up doing like an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 25 minutes, an hour and a half, and we're right around that time. Like anyone that's coming in, first off, I just want to say, Merry Christmas and welcome to every single person. But eager, like, as far as the distractions are concerned, I agree with you. But at the same time, it's like sometimes distractions can be quite exhilarating. They can be um, addictive, and then it's like you want more and more and more and more. And many of us have addictive personality. What's up, Spamton? And, you know, um, yeah, Bitcoin is awesome. I have nothing negative to say about Bitcoin, Kabbalah. But, I think many of us have addictive personalities. And it's like you you just you find yourself getting distracted, and then because sometimes like one little thing that throws you off can then like have you trying to reroute your balance on a day-to-day basis. And then it's just like, because it could be like a newfound friend, it could be like whatever you choose to put into the balance of your life that wasn't there before, and then you chose to run with that distraction. Then it's just like, oh man, like I have to reroute things, you know. So like me personally, I think financial independence is not easy. If it was easy, then it would be higher than like the the 5 to 1% of people that excel at it, right? There's a reason why the percentage of people who excel at financial independence is so low, right? Because it's not easy. It's very difficult, very challenging. So the distraction, and again, to each their own, to each, everyone does it how they do it. I just know for me personally, I can't do it. I have an addictive personality. I'll wind up like, you know, I go hard, like I'll go in all the way. And then it's just like, before you know it, because I have to manage everything a certain way. So the balance is like not, you know, throwing me off to where like I burn out, right? So I have to be able to balance it a certain way. But I just know that like the goals that I have to set a certain way, and I can't like, I opt not to be distracted too much, you know? Like everything has to have a straight up reason as to why it gets done, you know? And like as far as like living a life worth living, to me it's like there's been many times in my life where I had a lot of forced patience put on like into my balance. So I know that if I could wait for certain things, like the ability to wait on rewards, in this case, a life worth living, I think if I'm executing properly and striving to achieve greatness, I think, because I believe in myself, I think that it'll be worth much more to have that reward and live it at the right time. So like to try and balance it out while I'm trying to achieve greatness, it's not going to work for me. I would rather exercise discipline a certain way and then say, this is how I'm going to reward myself with the things that I want to do and how I want to live life. And that's always worked for me personally. As far as leaving a legacy, yeah, visionary. Like this whole live stream is about that. You know, like if you came in, Merry Christmas, by the way, and welcome. If you came in and you saw the thumbnail, those are my parents, right? And the title of this live stream is blessings forever. The legacy is about like this is now public, right? Unless this channel gets booted or like I'm probably not going to delete any of this stuff. So this whole live stream, even though right now it's an hour and a half, it was a shout out to my parents. Like I spent a nice chunk of time talking about the greatness of my parents in my life, you know? So that's a legacy that was left because I know they're going to watch this. My parents are going to watch this. They're going to see this. So like at this, and I also spent a chunk of time talking about how like I'm a reformed loser, like I screwed up a lot in life. So to turn that around and like now lead with confidence in productivity and a powerful resolve in positivity, that's a legacy being left, and me talking about the life that I want to live by instilling discipline in my life through sacrifice, I am achieving every goal I set out to achieve. And that's part of the legacy as well, and balancing all of that out in a way, Leandro, to not burn myself out, but doing things like this and not chasing a YouTube check and not charging people so they have leverage over me is a way of me like just putting this out there in a way that feels therapeutic to me. It's like therapeutic release, Now, Iker, like I said, to each their own. So if your dog is a healthy distraction, there's a reason why these animals are like, they're service animals. Like they are literally emotional relief for people. That's for a reason. So if that dog brings you something that you couldn't have any other way, you're not going to listen to me say anything about how distraction doesn't work for me, because a distraction works for you, right? And that dog is a distraction worth having in your life, correct? So I get it. To each their own, right? To oil. I'm just going through these messages. Now I appreciate the compliment, you two blue butterflies. And yeah, I know I'll hit these goals, Iker. So I already know. Theo, Merry Christmas. I appreciate that. Hope everyone's well with their Christmas day. Wisdom, same here. And it feels awesome to become more and more financially free, right? However you go about doing that, in like the way you believe to go about doing that, like I may have my own way of how I perceive is the best route to financial freedom, right? But one thing's for sure, the more you are achieving that, the more you feel not just powerful because you're able to like be a provider for your closest friends and your family members, but at the same time you have like another tool at your disposal where you're less stressed, you're less anxious. So if you don't have like, if you're not living paycheck to paycheck, or if you're not like constantly stressing over bills that keep coming your ways, like nothing else is coming in the mail, right? They're not giving you money, but they will give you a bill. And if it's paperless, you're going to get it in your phone, right? So if you imagine you don't have all of that and you have zero debt and you have high credit and you have high liquidity and it's very liquid. Now what's the difference? The difference is your anxiety is going to go down. And obviously that's not the only thing in life that's going to make your stress go down. You have to fix a lot of things, right? Your health, your social um, engagement, like yourself, your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit, everything, right? But at the same time, I just think financial freedom should be at the top of that list. I think, as powerful as sleep is in life, and hydration and sunlight and exercise, a lot of these things, and proper nutrition, I think financial freedom is up there, right? Because what do most of us do in life? We're trying to get paid. Like, we're trying to not be drowned by debt, and not be, stressed out by bills, and like be broke, right? So it's like I said, if you have zero debt, high credit, and very liquid, you know, finances that are like extremely liquid and high, you're probably going to be less stressed if you have all of these other things in check as well. So, yeah, wisdom, that's what I'm talking about. Like, all the distractions, like I said, to each their own. Everyone is going to be different. But me, it's just what works for me. Like it's hard for me to achieve greatness with a whole bunch of I tried it. I'm not speaking from a place where I didn't try it. It just doesn't work for me. And I'm a very excessive, extreme type of individual. So I need to be able to like not have distractions in my life. And then I get to a different part, goal wise, to where it's like I can enjoy it more. Yeah, Ramazan, you're gonna have to do that for yourself, buddy. I'm not a matchmaker here. And it's the same thing, wisdom. Like, when people lead with negativity, like, you see it right away. I repel that. I swerve them. I dub them. It's like, go that way. But yeah, I mean, this is eco. This is a capitalistic nation. So it's like you have to really differentiate what is what to you, right? So to me, I understand going through what I've gone through in life with bills and seeing my parents, and you know how stressful it is to be flooded with bills and constantly having like this nudging stress of you know every little issue that comes about, balancing every bill that comes flying at you from a month to month basis. And it's like, to me, getting to a place where you don't have debts anymore and you are in good financial standing, it's amazing. It's like immediately you're more at ease. It's like immediately your anxiety goes down. And I think, like, if most people would approach that from a very like objective standpoint, they would agree, and they'd be like, yeah, yeah, because many of us shoot for the same thing, right? Like, we're shooting to be financially free, most of us. Like, if you had the option to not work your 9 to 5 or whatever your line of work is, and if you could work less and spend more time with your family, or do the things you want to do, your hobbies, your passions, wouldn't you want to do that? If you had the option to spend more time with your dog than spending all this time at work because you have all these bills and like all these responsibilities, wouldn't you want to do that? So I mean, that's what I need. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. And I always strive for the higher echelon of that category. And Capadai, I know exactly what the dollar is. The dollar ain't shit. That's just what it comes down to. If you go out of this country, since it's the reserve currency, it's going to stretch far. But if you're in New York City or California or Florida or, Illinois or like wherever you're at, Boston, the dollar ain't shit. you know? So I know exactly what you mean, you know, when we're talking about inflation. And you know, like I said, wisdom, every person has, what they think they should do, but all I'm saying is, you know, paycheck to paycheck, that ain't it. You know. Yeah, I don't know who you're talking to, Jay, but it's definitely not me, bro. And sunlight, visionary, is a good thing to, get some UV rays with. It's good for your skin. I wouldn't see. I try and get, like, right now it's tough because of the temperature, but 8 a.m., 15 to 30 minutes, and 6 to 8 p.m., depending on the month, 15 to 30 minutes. That's all I need. Do that for like 2-3 weeks straight. I'm good for 2 to 3 months with vitamin D3, which is a powerful hormonal vitamin, you know? And again, Ika, everyone has, their own idea, and we have to differentiate what's what to us, right? So aside from like a general standpoint, we have to have a specific one for what meets our own criteria, right? As individuals. So, I think, you have to have your own goal that is very specific to yourself, you know? I think what you're asking, Iker, I think being financially free would only help my relationship with my parents, and it has, you know, the as the three of us, because I have no siblings, as the three of us have gotten stronger and stronger and better financially, it only strengthens our relationship. So I wouldn't put one over the other. I wouldn't say it's either money or it's my parents. No, it's the financial part accelerates and it progresses, and my relationship with my parents upgrades, you know? So I mean, that's how I look at it. Yeah, wisdom. I mean, Blake, what's up? Yeah, wisdom, vitamin D, you know. I was taking D3 and magnesium, K2, and balancing things out, but now it's like I've done my best to kind of like load up from from the sun itself, so I don't have to take supplements, and you can actually store upwards of 3 months or more in your body through the liver, and in your body, from the sun itself. So that's what I tried to do before I knew the winter was coming, because I'm still not there where I'm going to tropical places for the winter yet. November, December, January, and February. But I did it this winter beforehand. So I've been kind of like phasing out all supplements. At this point, all I take is like beef liver pills and L-citrulline. That's really it. I don't even take protein powder, and I work out, you know. Yeah, yeah, Eker. Did I miss someone? Yeah, no debt. It definitely gives us peace. Peace of mind is just it's freeing. Wisdom, you know. Blake, again, just like Eker was talking about, like when it comes to whatever your concept of nutrition is, that's also very subjective. So what works for you may not work for me, and vice versa, right? But like, yeah, generally speaking, something nice and stable, and something that will, me, I had the, because I've gotten to a place, like I said, I don't even take protein powder, right? So I had to figure out how at like 50 can I still build muscle, lean muscle mass, and be shredded without taking TRT, without taking creatine, without taking protein powder, without taking anything? Like, how do I do that, right? I had to experiment with nutrition, what works for me. I had to literally take things out and then reintroduce. And then I had to do that for a long time to figure out like what works, what doesn't, you know? So I had to be very specific in experimenting on a day-to-day basis to understand what like that diet was for me, you know? So it was a little, it took a long time, but I figured it out, you know? But wisdom, I feel you on that, like being happy, you know, and this is what we were talking about earlier, right? Like just being genuinely happy, you know, no faking, no, just truly happy, you know. Yeah, you seem very poetic, Ramazan. It's money and wisdom. That's right, wisdom, you know. F do, what's up? How you doing? Greetings, welcome, Merry Christmas. Yeah, there are different ways to get B12 wisdom, and nowadays I try and get it from food, you know, and it's been working. Wow, you guys are firing off. Like, I love it. I'm like trying to go through and it's like not stopping. Okay, Leandro, as far as living off the grid, yes. Do I like the idea? Yes, I do like the idea. I like it as as much as you can to live off the grid. I love it, you know. Um, yeah, as far as like what you were saying about, you know, tuning things out and as far as distractions, etc., like yeah, I love it. As best as you can, living off the grid, I support it. And Ramazan, you know, come correct. Don't call anyone stupid in here. And then, you know, we'll go through what you're talking about. Kappa die, yeah. So you asked a question about do I ever see myself leaving America? Um, I really enjoy America. I'm kind of patriotic, you know. I I am definitely gonna leave America. There's no question about it. But like your question is kind of like it seems like final in a sense. Like, am I gonna be like a passport bro, or am I gonna be like, you know, someone who just like isn't, you know, someone who is someone who winds up moving somewhere else and like more permanently or semi-permanently? I don't know. I think, like I said, I'm one of those people who's probably going to spend, you know, 4 to 5 months out the year during the because I'm in New York. I I'm not a fan of New York winters, so I'll be in a tropical place in another country for those months, and I'll be over here in YouTube land, you know, bringing it to you all, you know, and I'll be genuinely happy. So when you see the smile on my face, it's not like me fake posting on Facebook, but meanwhile I have a whole bunch of drama and trouble and problems in life. No, I'm gonna be happy because I'm gonna be talking about the problems too. I'm gonna be venting. So like I'm just gonna be out there wherever I'm at, and you'll know all about it. So I'll be over there and probably like maybe upwards of half the year. But I really like the U.S. You know, born and raised. I'm a native New Yorker. I'll always love America. Anonymous, like, hey, you know, Merry Christmas, bro. I hope you're okay. You know, if you're in his live stream and you're feeling it. That's a good thing. You know, are you cooked? I don't know. Ask yourself. Look in the mirror. I don't know, but you're welcome here, whatever it is. Yeah, I'm definitely visionary. I'm definitely an only child. So It was lonely at times, and even to this day, like, like Iker was saying, like, about like living life a certain way, and distractions and people, places and things, etc. I always have to find a way to combat loneliness, you know. And this is a perfect example of how you can engage with people, and it's a beautiful thing, right? Like, how can I feel lonely, even though, okay, we're all strangers and we're all talking to each other, but we're having good conversation, right? How can I feel? And then, like, I'm sure I'm like this outside too. When I see people in the street, I just compliment people. I have a good time. Just, I'm not necessarily outgoing, like I'm not an extrovert, but I kind of over time like cracked out of my shell to where I'm kind of like a half, like I'm a hybrid introvert extrovert. So I do this outside too. So I like I set myself in a mind state of where I choose to not be lonely, and I do things to like kind of prevent myself from going into that way of thinking, you know. Yeah, and I have seen people who take very good care of themselves, Eker, to where they're older people, guy or girl, and they're amazing. The way they look, their faces, their bodies, their hormonal health, everything. So I already know, like, I'm young compared to like a 70 or 80-year-old, right? So I just know there's so many people that are quick to, and to each their own, right? You do what you want, but like everyone is like, oh, if you're getting muscles at a certain age, then you're on trend or TRT, right? That's not the case. Like, I'm an example. I'm I'm an example myself. I accidentally took a screenshot. I don't know how, but it happened. Pajit, yeah, like, like I always say, we have to experiment to see what works best for each person, but you know, you got to experiment and see if, whether it's poultry or red meat or fish or, whole plant based, whatever works for you. You got to figure that out, and I'm definitely not going to do that, Big Sente. That's not what I'm going to do. No, I don't know how to do that, Dexter. Eker, when it comes to hiking in the look, when I step outside of this vehicle, I am gonna be in pain because I've been sitting here. Yeah, I got the seat warmers on, and that's probably helping, but I pull my left butt cheek. So when I step out, I'm gonna be in pain and I'm gonna be limping. If it wasn't so cold and it wasn't like, I don't have a gimbal with me, right? So it's gonna be real shaky and odd if I like. But I have a trail right back here where I could go to, and it's amazing. I love hiking. Before I just recently got back into working out with calisthenics and resistance, that's all I was doing. I was just getting steps on. I was getting like 8 to 12K a day, on average. And I was going through every trail, through all the woods, and it was amazing. That's all I needed. And I was in shape. Yeah, I was slim, very slim, but I was healthy. I was good. You know, Took my blood work. I was good. My dentist, my gums, everything was good. So, um, so yeah, living off the grid is just sounds like a wonderful thing. But then again, I could live in any condition, really, whether it's like really rural like that, or like in any type of situation, I'd be able to do it. Kappa, if you said, you started chasing, like, you know, like you started going after the financial independence like late, that just gave you more experience, right? That just means you went through more, right? Because, and like I always say, like, things don't usually happen when we want, but when it was meant to be, right? So if you ended up getting closer to what you wanted to get later on in life, it's because that's when it was supposed to happen. That's when it worked out to be, right? So you just have more experience. So consider it a blessing, just like the title of this live stream today, Blessings Forever. Yeah, visionary. Like, I'm not gonna front. It's 30, like it's almost freezing right now. So if I had to like live in this vehicle, if I had to live outside somewhere, it'd be tough for me too. I'm not that skilled. So just being honest. Ramazan, I'm about to swerve you, bro. This is the second time because like I read what you said, and you come kind of coming out a little sideways, but it is what it is. Now, Eker, yeah, it's oh, Keith, what's up, Keith? Welcome, Merry Christmas. What you're saying with the whole marriage situation, I feel for you, bro. But they always say man's best friend is a dog, right? That's for a reason, you know. So as far as like what a lady can provide to a man or what a man can provide to a lady, hey, it's one of those topics, right? I said I tread carefully on certain things, not because I can't, free my mind on certain topics, but that's one of those topics where it's like a very subjective thing, and I see the beauty in everything. So I'm not gonna be a person who like bashes women at at all. That's just not what I'm about. Uh, you see on my and it just not just reserved to my mom on the thumbnail, but like I know a lot of women, right? They're obviously different, right? They're gender wise, like they're different. The way women think, their hemispheres, um, the way they process emotions, like everything is a little different than maybe the way we process certain things. But we can definitely meet up, and we can have a lot of ways that we can work together. But it's not always going to be like that in a union, where because there are plenty of. It's not always going to be perfect, but there are plenty of husbands and wives that do get along and are each other's best friends, right? So it just depends. And just because you get married doesn't mean it was meant to be. And sometimes you figure things out later on where it's just like, I don't think this person was who I thought this person was initially, right? And then sometimes people drag that out and then they just kind of force it. But sometimes it's like normal struggles that people go through, just like friendships, where you just kind of have to, those are growing pains, right? You just have to figure it out. But if you learn that that person wasn't compatible and then you made a decision later on and now it just feels better to be where you're at, and like you said, with your dog or whatever the case may be, then more power to you. And wisdom, I agree. Like I believe me, dogs are dogs are loved for a certain reason, you know, and I, I have some experiences in the past where I've been attacked by dogs. Right, I've been attacked by multiple pit bulls in my life, like really attacked, and I've been attacked by Rottweilers in my life. Right. But does that mean I hate all pit bulls and all Rottweilers? No. This is, like earlier on in this live stream, we were talking about like it was the parents. Where were the parents, right? No, it was me. But in those cases, was it the dog or was it the upbringing of the dog? I don't know, but I just know that those dogs attacked me. But I don't think, but then again, I've also met pit bulls that were sweethearts, like sweethearts, right? So I can't ever be like, all pit bulls are a certain way. That would be like me being judgmental of people as well. I just won't do it. That's why I said when it comes to the female thing, I won't bash women because I have some experiences in the past with some ladies. It's just every situation is different, you know? But yeah, yeah, wisdom, like when I was like I was mentioning earlier about like you just have another tool at your disposal, like where your options just open up when you become financially free, you know? Where it's like where you were way more restricted before, now you get to a place where it's like if you're financially independent, it's like now I'm like I can do that, you know? I can take that trip or I can not work this day or like I don't have to worry about that bill or like I can wake up when I want to wake up or like just your freedom it, it, it just explores some there's so many more options available, you know? So, okay, here we go, Ramazan. I think you just like when I mentioned you, you know, even though you're over here. And if you think this is me getting angry, just scroll back up to each comment you put out here and just read your own comments. Just like try and mellow down your emotions for a sec because you're thinking I'm angry, right? But just mellow down your emotions for a second. Scroll back up and reread every single comment you have put out here so far. And then you question yourself and say to yourself, would you like if someone was talking to you that way? And then just be honest with yourself. I'm only saying what I'm saying because of how your energy is coming to me. And of course, maybe I can't understand your inflection or how you're saying it, but this is not a cultural thing. This is not like a language thing. Clearly, you're speaking in English and you are coming and you're choosing the words you're using the way you're using them. And you're using certain words that are not very nice. You know, trust me, you haven't seen angry because I could be a real slime bucket. And if I spazzed on you, you wouldn't like it. Bro, Iker, I was just talking about this with my dad, right? It's true. You can totally be, you could live with someone, you could be really free. I mean, you could really be close to someone. You could have people fully in your, you know, in your circle and be totally lonely. So I totally agree with that. It's true. You know, you can totally be lonely and still have people like very close to you and very close to you. So, oh yeah, my left butt cheek, it's a wrap. Oh man. Yeah, wisdom. I'm gonna you know, when it comes to the ladies, I'm gonna leave that one alone. So as I always say, right? I'm not gonna go through every comment because you know, some people are just trolling and they just get swerved. You know, you swerve certain energy, and then when there's no audience to be able to entertain your energy, like I always say, you get bored and then you leave, and then you think it's like the crowd is whack, but it was actually you, buddy. Ooh, that sounds like a good mutt. Yeah, it sounds like an awesome dog, Eker. You know, sounds like an amazing pet that you have there. You know, so I get it. You know, like that time that you put in with that dog and how much that means to you. Yeah, I could just imagine. I know so many people who have dogs that were, you know, where they're just like, if this dog wasn't in my life, I don't know what I'd do. Or sometimes cats as well. You know, so I could just imagine. Yeah, Kappa die. Like the frequency is too much for people sometimes, you know? And like I said, when the energy doesn't, you know, feed in the way they want to be fed, and like I said, you know, I could joke with people, but you got to bring something of substance for me to want to joke with you. If you just come out like, you know, a certain way, it's just like you deserve to be swerved, you know? So, yeah, 5.5 years, Eddie Grant, Granada, Granados. Yeah, yeah, Iker, that's one of those situations, you know, where it's like that must have been very draining, you know, with certain people. Hey, Japan's in the building. Shin, what's up? Merry Christmas. Thank you for the well wishes. I appreciate that, you know, and everyone does too on behalf of everyone here, you know. Thank you for the well wishes. Hope your Christmas goes well as well. But it's a good thing, Ika, that you moved on because like I said, that must have been draining. You know, I was just talking all this time with like, you know, with um with the other brother, Kappa Die, and it's like, you know, we were talking about like financial freedom, and it's like sometimes debt and bills and certain priorities related to money matters can be so draining. But if you have a person who's very close to you and that's like a romantic interest, I appreciate that, Livy Love, and that person is draining, it's almost like a totally different type of like anxiety that you feel, you know? So, hey, Barrett, thank you. I appreciate that. You know, I appreciate the sub. Oh, that's the perfect word for it, right? A vampire. Like sucking the life of the life liquids out of you, you know? The loving energy gets just drained out of your spirit and soul. So you do not want to give that away easily. You want to make sure you preserve that for where it's being appreciated, you know? So, yeah, that's why I like being here. And like I said, I like YouTube because generally speaking, it's not so toxic. Because if this was like a live stream in like X, it'd have been like probably way more toxic, you know? But I like YouTube not only because the crowd is a little bit more mature, but because there's so much information here where we can like learn from, you know, we can use to research things that we want to really focus on, and then the algorithm works in our favor where like now they're shooting all types of content that is related to that our way, you know. So obviously you don't want to go too deep into a rabbit hole because you want to, you know, I mean the quick way to like stop that or like slow it down is to kind of like remove from your search history, right? But I really like it out here too in YouTube land, you know. And you see a lot of things that, you know, maybe at an earlier time, it wasn't so easy. It wasn't access wise, it wasn't so easy. Like you'd have to go to books, like the Dewey Decimal System, right? You would have to like actually research so much. Whereas now it's so convenient and at our disposal, where it's like, wow, we can see so much and learn so much here, you know? So I totally agree. Looks like Ramazan's changed his tune a little bit. That's good, you know. It's you know, I hope you are enjoying yourself, you know, because that's what it's all about. But I I I really enjoy YouTube, you know, and I'm gonna do the same thing. Like I said, when it finally comes to a place where I'm no longer in the States, and again, I'm not gonna do it for long periods of time. I'm gonna take everyone with me. It's like, look, look where I'm at. And I'm gonna have this same type of curiosity where I'm going outside. Like if you go through this channel, you go through the shorts, you'll see. Like I have a crazy amount of curiosity where I just like explore everything. And I'll be imagine me in the tropics. I just told you I from 3 years of age to 50, like, and in between, I've always been into insects and animals and whatnot. So imagine me in the tropics. I am like paying attention to every lizard and skink and spider and scorpion and centipede and everything in between, you know? So I'm gonna be like pointing everything out, you know? Yeah, yeah, Cappadai, that's right. Like YouTube is like, because whatever it is you do, like you have to actually be in the field, right? Like you got to actually play it, right? Like you got to play ball, so to say. But how you research and prepare yourself for the actual gameplay to develop a feel for whatever field you're in, this is invaluable, you know? Being here and researching here is amazing, you know? Good job, YouTube. Like you set something up for us that is is very it's very strong. It's very powerful, you know? Good job. Yeah, I heard about that, Eker, with the 90K to do that, you know? I definitely heard that's interesting, right? My only thing with that is even though that sounds amazing and I'm sure the culture out there is probably very cool, but it's the temperature, you know? Because like I would only be leaving New York personally to escape the winters. So to go to like, because like I said, I like New York. I like the States. I like being out here, you know? But November, December, January, and February, shoot, I gotta find like tropical places, right? That's the only thing about Ireland. It's like it's cold, that's for sure. But I definitely heard about that. Offering $90,000 to remote a remote island out there. I mean, there are parts of like, for example, right? So the UK is probably similarly like along the same latitude as over here, New York, but it's supposed to be somewhat warmer, especially like I guess in the southernmost parts of I don't know. I don't know where in the UK the southern maybe London, but the temperature is I think a little bit more mild. So I'm sure like what you're talking about over there because of certain winds that are coming from wherever they're coming from, maybe offers like a different type of climate that would be um, not as harsh in certain ways. So I get it. Sam, what's up? Welcome. Merry Christmas. Greetings. Yeah, that's crazy, Kappa. Dollar? That's nuts. That's nuts. Yeah, Jerry, I'm not exactly sure about that. Um, oh, Germany. Yeah, I have family in Germany, and my parents lived in Germany for years. So that's cool. Yeah, Merry Christmas, Sam. Appreciate that. Yeah, Capadot. That's exactly what I was talking about. Like latitude wise, I think London may be similar to New York, like around here, Yonkers, the Bronx. But when it comes down to it, like that's what I thought. Like I would think London is milder than than New York because right now it's brick out here. Like it's cold. Like we're talking about freezing temperatures right now, you know? So I already know. Yeah, and you know what's interesting? eager about that. So in New York, right? Like this is Eastern Standard Time, right? We're on the East Coast off the Atlantic, right? And like the difference between New York and Florida is like, so temperature wise, there's a major difference. Like this week, it's going to be in the 20s and 30s Fahrenheit, right? But in Florida, nighttime temperatures like this time is going to be like 60s and 70s at night. But not only that, even in the winter and especially in the summer, the the amount of hours, regardless of daylight savings, are longer over there. Even though it's technically Eastern Standard Time, there's more sunlight over there. So when the sun sets, if it like let's say it sets over here at like I don't know 6:30 or 6:45, it's gonna be like 7:15, 7:30 over there, which I think is cool and people don't even realize, but it's true. I have family that live out there. Sometimes I'd Facebook I'd face chat them, right? Like video chat them, and it's like I see out here like the sun is setting, but then over there it's like how is it still bright over there? We're on this, it's Eastern Standard Time. We're on the same coast, but it's different, you know. Yeah, so it depends where you're at, Sam, because like it depends the time and like the location. Like if you're in Manhattan, forget it. Forget it. They literally charge now for congestion. So like if you pass 53rd, I think it's like 53rd or 54th Street, and you go south, like meaning downtown, they're charging you for that to try and kind of like lower congestion. It's not really working. Like they're just collecting money and it's not cheap. It's literally like $10 to just pass 53rd Street and go like down. But it's for congestion. It's ridiculous. But like the Bronx, it's not that bad. But there are certain places where it's still kind of crazy, you know? But Queens can be crazy. Brooklyn can be crazy. Staten Island is probably not as bad. And the Bronx is not as bad. But Manhattan, Queens, forget it. Yeah. So today was pretty warm, right? That seems like kind of like the temperatures it was over here in New York too. And that's crazy in Wisconsin, right? I don't know if that's because you're like closer towards like British Columbia maybe, but you're way up north. So that's interesting that it was that high, because I'm not exactly sure what the temperatures are over there, but it's crazy that it was that warm. Those are good temperatures. Yeah, I've never heard Capodai 3:30. Yeah, I've never heard that before. That's crazy early. Like, I think the earliest it sets out here is like right before 5 o'clock, like maybe 4:30, 4:45. But yeah, definitely 40s in Wisconsin sounds not that bad, you know? Jay Nash, I appreciate that. It is pretty crazy, isn't it? You know? Chicago in the building. Let's go. I hope you have a good time out here in NYC and a safe one, when you come out here extended. Have a safe one. People do get a little crazy out here during these holidays, you know, whether it's with liquor or whatever happening. So just be careful, be safe, be on point, and have a designated, sober person somewhere around, and have a good time. And you know, happy holidays to you and whoever you're with. Oh, okay. That makes sense. You know, that's probably what happened because we had a cold front for a long time, eager, you know, and okay, so Wisconsin then is somewhere more towards the middle east than it is the middle west. Okay, so then the uh, wherever it's coming from, it it broke towards the warmer temperatures. So that's good, you know. Extended, yeah, you know, from Chi-Town to NY and back, you know. It's always a good thing. You know, hopefully where you're at right now is also, you know, a good time and it's it's uh it's a good vibe out there in Chicago. It's cool, Iker. Like you've been maintaining like a good, you know, flow of healthy conversation here. And it's like now you got this little like crown thing that says number one, you know. Interesting. I could tell Ramazan over here is like you know, is probably either buzzing or is just flowing with troll energy, you know. Oh, okay, 16 hours. Wow. What's MKE stand for? Yeah, you're number one. You know, that's a good thing. It's all great. You know, uh, I sure as hell don't mind. You know, and I can't wait to Milwaukee. That's what I thought. Yeah, Milwaukee. 16 hours. That's a hell of a drive. You know, that is a hell of a drive. Bro, I'm like moving my leg around and my left glute is like on fire. And I've been using this seat warmer and I hope this thing heals like and it doesn't take too long, you know. Yeah, like I said, it was the same answer to your, I'm gonna be a matchmaker for you and get you a girl. Like you gotta get that yourself, just like you gotta get a vehicle yourself, homie. You gotta do your own thing, you know. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna give you my vehicle that I spent 2 weeks before finally getting back so you could skeet all over it. You gotta be kidding me, you know? Go on, get out of here. Yeah, right? I mean, that's all we need to do. Like, just I'm glad you're having a good time though. I'm glad, your Christmas is treating you well. You know, hopefully you get, some good times rolling with whoever it is you're about to roll with. Oh man, I'm actually gonna start heading towards the BX. I'm gonna head towards the Bronx and uh and cruise. You know, I just hope when I step out of the vehicle, oh man, it's like throbbing. This is one of those pains where it's like, do I need an ibuprofen? Do like, and then like every place is closed right now, right? Or maybe I go into the gas station, but it's like, shoot, if I take an ibuprofen, I'll probably get some relief because this thing is at like it's like a throbbing pain now, you know. I'm really considering going to like a Walgreens or like, yeah, it's like really bad right now because I've been sitting a while. So I'm seriously considering an ibuprofen and, you know, take that thing down and like let that thing go to work because Walgreens probably open, you know. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Wow. Let's see. I'm seriously considering an ibuprofen. This is wow. But yeah. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's why I usually don't take anything because of those types of reasons, you know, where it's like, I know there are harms, especially when something is strong like that. It's like, that's it. But then like, usually I don't like. I just deal with it. I just deal with it, and I just think like, oh man, I'm gonna have to go through like 2 or 3 days of pain like this. Ugh, it is what it is. I think I'm just gonna go through it, deal with it, 3, 4 days of, and it sucks because I just got my vehicle back right now, and this happens. What a time. But it is what it is. Wow, a lot of lights are out here. Christmas lights. Looks nice. You know. But some biofreeze. Hey, Jen. How you doing? Welcome. Greetings. Merry Christmas. Hopefully you're having a good. I could tell a Chinese girl would be super into you, Ram. The way you talk, I'm sure you pull ladies like like a magnet to a magnet. You must pull females so effortlessly. You could just tell. Chen, since I'm your genie, what are you looking for? What kind of Christmas gift are you gonna get? What are you trying to, what do you want Santa to bring you? Yeah, no, the energy is all you, like I said, I know you get everything that whatever it is you're looking for, you get it. You That energy is all you. There's usually a homeless guy that's right here, and I know this dude, but he's not here right now. Oh, just an iPhone? That's it? That's all you want? Just an iPhone? Like the latest, what, the 17 Pro Max? That's all you want? Oh, Mishmashi Mazi, I appreciate that. You know, it's definitely something, that's for sure. Oh, that's it? Just an iPhone? 17 Pro Max, that's it? That's that's simple. That's easy. You know? What, 2 terabytes? Oh, the gray one? Is it the gray one you're looking for? The dark gray? Oof. Oh, I could, yeah, I could tell Santa's gonna come down. You know, if Santa can't find the chimney, Santa will possibly knock on your door. If that's the only way Santa could come through. So be prepared. I can't wait to step out of this vehicle. And yeah, so that's like politics to me. Like when someone's talking about Trump, or like just me saying that is like, it's almost like me talking about that illness from like 2020 or 2021. It's like, I know this is a sensitive platform, so it's like one of those things where human rights, you know politics, religion, those tread carefully types of topics where I'm just like, hmm, we uh we gotta be cautious in anything being stated here. But all I can say is, you know, Merry Christmas, and I respect every religion, and that's just the honest truth. Every religion. I don't respect sometimes what people do in the name of religion, but I respect every religion. That's for sure. Queen, what's up? How you doing? Appreciate the compliment. Merry Christmas. Welcome. Greetings. Oh, oh wow, the throbbing. The throbbing. Oh, this is gonna be something else. Yeah, Iker, I learned with experience through life, like the same way, like I am not concerned with airing out dirty laundry because of so-called skeletons in closets. Like it's not gonna happen because I'm gonna swerve energy I don't like, and I'm not going to detail anything that could potentially trip me, you know? So, and not just because I'm in the house of YouTube, but because I just know how people are, you know? And and the truth is what I spoke on religion. Like I don't like what some people do in the name of religion, but I respect all religions. That's the honest truth, you know? Ah, oh, for Santa? Yeah, the 17 Pro Max. You already know with the 2 terabytes. Wait for that knock on the door, and just look out for the totally gray bearded individual. It's gonna be it's gonna be amazing. But on another note, like I said, 2026, it's truly gonna be awesome, you know, and I can't wait. And I can't wait to do a whole nother year of going hard in YouTube land. And I had fun. I'm not gonna lie. Like when I first started, it was like I was trying to get footing, and yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And then once I got my footing, it's like, okay, obviously I'm gonna be a student here, and I'm gonna continue to keep getting better and better. But yeah, it's clearly showing signs of like something's working, you know? So, and I just, like I say, just be yourself, you know? For anyone who's trying to be a so-called content creator, or like whatever it is you're trying to do, just be yourself. Find something you like to do, and, you know, quit always trying to find like some sort of like strategy, like go into the settings, and if you uncheck this, then you're going to get more of that. And if you before you post, you do this, then you're going to get more of that. Like just people resonate to just the realness in who you are. And that's what I think people try and connect with. Obviously, you have to have something, right? Like you have to have a spark. Like you have to have something that's kind of polished, and that takes time. But look, I've tried YouTube before, right? Like I said, over the last year where I was doing YouTube, like that's amazing, over 100 years. Good for him. Like I hope he lives for a long, long time. But before we were rudely interrupted, uh, over the last year, it was like I was here, and like it clicked, and it was like I found something that works, you know. And after finding what I just kept tweaking it, and it was just like, oh, this is cool. you know? So I say that to say, like, before this, I had a business. Oh, I still have a business. I still have my LLC, but like, I had my own business and I was promoting it on social media. And I just did for you, bro. How you gonna say I'm ignoring you and I just did? You just asked me to do something. I did it. And then you're saying, like, come on, bro, get with it. So I was promoting the business and it wasn't working. I was doing it for years. I was here on YouTube promote, like I was editing videos. I was going all out, right? Nothing. And then one of the worst things you could do as a content creator is like invite your so-called friends and family because they're never going to support you like you want them to, right? It's always going to be strangers. It's always going to be people you don't know, like just random folks you meet on socials and through the internet, right? And it's like, what the heck? It took me a long time to figure that out. And like I said, I was doing like all these videos, shorts, everything. I was doing everything. And I was putting time into editing them all and all of that. None of it worked. So I came back and with this channel, I just on a whim, I was just like, I'm out here anyways. So let me just like do something just totally natural and like just display my curiosity for life. Like if anyone, like I have a trailer on this channel that basically kind of like in 40 seconds through a shorts describes more or less what the channel is. But like you can go into like the description of the channel and see like if your question was ever like, what is this channel about? And the whole premise, besides like music, is all about like I always wanted to see, like, sometimes we spoke about Moldy, what's up? Merry Christmas. And I always thought like someone who's in like Ireland or Zambia or Ghana or Pakistan or wherever, and it's like I didn't want like a touristy type of vibe for someone. Like if I checked into their channel and they were showing me what like Ireland was, and it's like I could see touristy anything at any time, like all well edited and like done up to like show Ireland or Zambia a certain way. It's like, no, I want to see like what do the streets look like? What do the prairies look like? What do the, certain places look like? Angola, wherever, and it's like I wanted to like if I never get the opportunity to, there you go, right, Chen? If I never get the opportunity to visit Angola or Zambia, but I visited your channel and you are basically like, it's not like a Nollywood type of, funny shorts, but it's like, no, you're taking me through the neighborhoods and you're showing me like what life is like in Zambia from like a real perspective, not a done up perspective, right? And like maybe I don't ever get the chance to visit these places, but like I'm living it through these shorts. That's what I wanted this channel to be. But like through New York City, through Westchester County, through Putnam, all throughout Connecticut, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York. And like when you come through this channel, you will see like what the Bronx is about, what Brooklyn is about, what Manhattan is about, Harlem, Staten Island, Long Island, Yonkers, New Rochelle, Mount Vernon, throughout Westchester, Putnam, Dutchess, Rockland. You'll see everything through this channel. And you get a Queens, get the money, and you'll understand without actually ever visiting here what it's like through these streets, good, bad, and ugly. And that's what I wanted someone else to do in their channel if I never got the opportunity to visit those places. So when I started doing that here, it was clicking and it was like, oh shit, I was doing this anyways, right? Like, wow, this is working. So that's what I stuck with. So now I'm just showing people, but from my perspective. And if I go to another country, I'm bringing this perspective as a like a foreigner to another place, but I have a New Yorker's like frame of mind, you know. So and and like I said, to each their own. But like from a YouTube, from a perspective of not wanting money for it, that like reduced the anxiety of me feeling like, I had to like always look out for the engagement, the views, the subscribers, the likes. Like you don't ever hear me talk about like and subscribe to my channel. No, I don't say that. I don't ever say that, because you come in as you want and you do what you want. You say what you want. If we do live streams, you talk about whatever you want, and there's not ever going to be a mod to stop you. You'll always have freedom of speech here, and I'm not ever going to monetize this channel. So, and I'm not ever going to verify this channel. So I'm not bound to YouTube restrictions beyond just recklessness, right? So now I don't have the anxiety of like, oh my God, the views, they're going down. Like, oh no, like my paycheck is gonna be less. Or like at the same time, it's like, oh, that video bombed. It's like, no, I'm not gonna have any of that, And there's no leverage because I'm not selling anything to anyone. So without the stress of that, now it's like, I see this is working and it's like, wow, I could do this. And I'm having fun and it's like therapy at the same time, So Mine, what's up? How you doing? So that's basically kind of like what I'm doing. It's like being a travelogue or like a tour guide in a sense, but at the same time, it's like I just do whatever I want here. Like in the videos, like I just post music because that's like another form of therapy for me. And at the same time, I like animals and insects. That's another form of therapy for me. So you'll see that trinity here all day. So when it comes to those things, fitness, music, and wildlife, that's the trinity for me. But at the same time, shorts wise, I created something that was kind of like I'm just spreading positive awareness to these places from my perspective, my point of view, So yeah, so this is kind of like a hobby where it's like therapeutic at the same time, So it's like I have fun doing it, So I don't ever feel like I am bound to it. Like I have to excel at it because it's not a job, But I just enjoy doing it and I enjoy sharing it. And like as this channel continues to grow, I enjoy the people that come in here and just check in. You could come in with trolling energy, you could come in with positive energy, whatever you feel like you want to do, and I enjoy it all. So that was my journey, and I basically did what I wanted someone from Zambia or Angola or Ireland to do for me. Like if I went into their channel, this is what I would want to see. I would want to see like the real, not the done up, not the touristy, like, look how this is. And like, put the fancy edits a certain way where it's like, oh, these steps are like those statues are like that place to visit. It's like, no, this is the gutter, that is a beautiful park right there. It's like everything is real. So if I'm going through the BX right here, you're going to see like, yo, like right there, that's where the hookers are at. Or right there, that's the Dominican barbershop. Or right there, that's where, the Dominican spot is, right? Or that's where, like, that's Little Ireland right there. That's Little Italy, Arthur Ave, or like whatever. You're gonna see the real, and no pressure at all. So it's been working. So like to any content creator, you gotta find your own path, on what works for you, and just stay with it. Because there's gonna be times where it's like, I remember where like I appreciate it. It took me 5.5 years, 77. So it took me some time. It took me a year to do this, where I developed some sort of a flow. But I remember like I had 100 subs, And every single sub that came in, every one sub that came in, I was extremely grateful for each sub, even though I wasn't chasing subs or views or likes or any of that. And you won't ever hear me talk about subs. But at the same time, now where one new sub turned into like 10 new subs, and maybe sometime in the future after 2026, it'll turn into 100 new subs. I'm talking about at a time. I'm still going to have the mind state of someone who appreciates one sub. I could be getting 100 new subs at a time. One sub means a lot. Not because I'm chasing subs, but because I just know what that feels like to have one more sub. So whether it's one more sub, 100 or 1,000 new subs at a time, every single sub is important, you know? And Staten Island to me is like, it's interesting. I don't like out of all the boroughs, I don't have a lot of experience out there in Staten Island, but it's nice. It's nice. It's a nice place. You know, there's like out of all the boroughs, it's like a place that has more greenery that I've seen. Again, I don't have a lot of experience out there, but it has more greenery that I'm used to, you know? The BX is like old school, like 80s style. Like it's still the same, you know? New York City. Brooklyn is changing because Brooklyn culture is different. Queens is huge, and Queens is so diverse. Like the diversity, culturally, ethnicity wise, the way the buildings are set up, the private houses, like the people, everything. It's like there's such a mixture there, you know, and it's amazing. Right? You got to go around me, buddy. I'm over here. You got to go around me. So I don't know. This person's got their hazards on. I don't know what they're doing. If they come out, we'll see. But yeah, so Queens is like so diverse, you know, and it's known for that. It's amazing as well, you know. But oh, okay, they just dropped off some people. Got it. Yeah. Merry Christmas, people. Merry Christmas. You know, appreciate that. Merry Christmas, Ito. Welcome, welcome. And yeah, that's my little spiel on all of that. Like, I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna go hard 2026. I went hard 2025. Like I said, I went from 100 subs to 1,300 subs, and I wasn't really trying. You know, like I said, I won't ever push anyone to do that or to like, you know, any of that. But it happened organically, and I'm gonna go hard this year too, just being myself and just finding something that worked. And like I was saying earlier in this live stream, like when you're not really chasing engagement, you see how like there's a different crowd in shorts, live stream verticals, as opposed to live stream horizontals. And then you'll also see there's a major difference between shorts and like long form videos, you know, like the numbers, the crowd, it's different. The posts you put out, like you just have to be mindful that the type of crowd that you're interacting with is different. And like I wouldn't stop doing anything, like thinking like, oh, you know, the shorts gets you all these subs and these views, but like the long form doesn't. No, it's a different crowd. So understand that. Like you got to cater to different people in different ways. And we're going to go hard. And I can't wait. Like I have like a 4 or 5 year game plan for YouTube to kind of get this channel popping. And not again, not because I am like chasing engagement and you know subs and all of that, but because like this is therapeutic. It's not just therapeutic for me, It's therapeutic for the people that come here, and like we all have healthy engagement. And if you're not just bringing trolling energy, like I can laugh with you too. Like if you want to, if you have a clever, you chopping on me in a clever way, I can laugh about it. But if you're just coming in here nasty, you know, like that's different. But like I just, by the way, I got to get this beard rebraided. Like I was thinking about like doing it right now, but I need to like take this whole thing apart. It literally goes down to my. I know you probably thought I was gonna say something crazy, but it goes down past that. It goes down to my knee. It goes down to my knee. So for me to take it apart, it's gonna take forever. And then after I take it apart, I need to wash it. I need to like go through a whole process. And then I need to like pick and brush it out and then rebraid it. So that's a whole process. So yeah, it's a little messy right now, but hey, who am I trying to impress? Am I trying to impress you or you? Sure as hell ain't trying to impress Christy, that's for sure. She gets no love. Yeah, I let I whip my hair and let my beard go. I let it go. I let it go. So it's like Samson, my hair is long too, you know? Yeah, originally, Rohit. Yeah. Ho ho ho. Ho ho ho. Yeah, I appreciate it. The Vikings, there's certain people. Sometimes, like the Vikings show me respect because they're like, yeah, that's Viking power right there. Samson from the story, the rosters give me respect. Hey, it's all good, you know? It's all love, and I appreciate it. And then the people that troll or have, you know, whatever energy, you get no love, you know? And then you get X'd out. And then you get bored and then you leave. It is what it is. But oh man. Yeah, like I was thinking the same thing, but I was thinking about different ones. Like, should I get the thin locks, the sister locks, or like how I was gonna do it? I know the Knicks just won, which blew me away. I was like, are you serious? Did that actually? Because I'm not in tune. I'm not in the loop. But did they really win? Did the Knicks really win? That's like crazy to me. Like I was doing a workout the last time I did a live stream when and like nobody was celebrating. It's like I guess everyone was so worn out. It's like the Knicks never won and they finally did. And it's like it's about time. But that's crazy. Like, but I didn't. I guess. But yeah, little a little connective humor there. But it was crazy. Like I was doing a workout live stream out in the cold because the gym was closed. That I wasn't, I didn't even know it'd be closed, and winded up doing just a random live stream outside in the freezing cold in the Bronx, and I was just doing a workout. Like, you know what? The world is our playground. The world is our gym. We create the gym wherever we want to create the gym. I literally had people in in the streets joining me. Like, yo, it's your turn. Like, word? Yeah, you on the live stream too. They're all watching you. Got it in. It's like, yo, you here all the time? Nah, I'm not, because I just picked a random like corner and I just started getting busy on the crossing light and like a bench right there. And I was just doing calisthenics. So nah, like the gym was closed. So I just felt like warming my body up outside by not staying still, you know? Yeah, it's very important, to be healthy. Like I know that I'll be 60 years old in the future and still be doing handstands and working on like getting better aesthetically. And it's like it doesn't just come from working out. It comes from like the right habits every single day, you know? Oh yeah, shout out to the Wisconsin um, giant superstar. So, yeah, that's true. But like I said, I'm so out the loop nowadays. It's like, what even happens in the NBA? I have no clue. I have no idea. I'm so out the loop. I don't even know who's who anymore, you know? So, I really want to like move freely, but that left glue, I'm dreading it right now. Yeah, the six. Look, you know what I said, 7-7? Like the last time I was in your position years ago, where I was like, I want my abs back. I want a six pack back. I said to myself, and I held this promise to this day. I said, this next time I get a six pack, I am not ever, ever going to let them go again. I am going to guard them like jewels, like diamonds on my body. That's what I did. I got my six pack back. I got an eight pack. I got a 10 pack. At worst, I'm at a six pack. At best, I'm at a 10 pack. And I got it year round now. And I always have it now. Obliques, serratus, shark gills, all of that. Like I am not letting go at all. I could gain 15, 20 pounds in like weeks if I want to, and I could get super strong. But nope. I'd rather gain 15 pounds in 3 years and do it extremely slow, like very gradually, and still have a six pack and put the majority of the weight in my back and like my legs, posterior chain and all that, and not worry about rushing the process so I can keep the definition intact and the conditioning where it needs to be, you know? So yeah, I've held on to them and I'm proud. Like I said I wasn't gonna lose them again, and I still have them. So it feels good. It feels great, you know? Like almost 50 right now, and like I can take my shirt off confidently, you know? I can take my if you go through my shorts, you'll see like I I can take my shirt off at any time and it feels amazing. Like when you're young, like when you're young and a guy and you take your shirt off, like shirts and skins, like if you're playing basketball or whatever, and it's like, you take your shirt off and you're proud, or if you go to a beach or a swimming pool or wherever and you take your shirt off and like you don't feel embarrassed or self-conscious, that's an amazing feeling. And that's what I had in my mind. I was like, yo, this time I'm gonna get my six pack back. I'm gonna get my eight pack back, my 10 pack back, whatever it is, and I'm gonna keep it. That's what I did. And it feels amazing. And like we were talking about earlier in this live stream about becoming financially free, that's another amazing thing, you know? Because likewise, you have to make the right decisions day in and day out with being frugal, how you spend, how you save, and chip away at debt and get to a place where, once you get there and you make the same determination where you're not going to go back where you just came from, amazing, you know. 45 is young, Iker, you know. 45 is young. There are people, guy and girl, who are so much older and they're at high levels, So yeah, well, sometimes what you can do is develop the muscles around the joints so they kind of like safeguard the area. so that like with time and practice and the right habits that hopefully don't add to inflammation through whatever you're eating, like a lot of omega-6 fatty acids, which is in practically everything, then the inflammation goes down. And that, not like right now where I'm like I pulled something because I slept funny, but like just normal, like chronic inflammation, right? From eating whatever you're eating. If you build the muscles around the joint and you safeguard the area, eventually the pain goes away. It's like when you do squats and like that first week, like your knees and your joints are like achy. But then after you get sore and then you come back stronger and then boom, the second week it's easier and then the third week it's like you don't feel anything anymore, right? And then if you fix your dietary habits, it's amazing, you know? But it comes with a lot of like things you have to unlearn and retrain yourself to do, you know? But I think if we Shen, what's up? What's going on? I think if Igor, if we make the determination to ourselves, like, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to get into a couple of dance schools, you know? Like, I'm talking about like gymnastics mixed with like power break and like street urban with like, hey, and most, I appreciate it. And like, hey, in most, we all have something, Because I run into people all the time where they're like, oh, I wish I could grow my beard like yours. And I'm like, well, I wish I could be taller like you. Be like a person who's like 6'3". And it's like, and then he'll look at me and be like, yeah, you're right there. I wouldn't want to sacrifice my 6'3". Yeah, I know you would. We all have something, right? So that's how I look at it. Yeah, I mean, that's another way that you can kind of like knead out certain, you know, certain things that's going on muscle wise. But yeah, 6'4", 6'5" is crazy, you know. That's nuts. But hey, you know, if you think you could pull it off and it's gonna look right for you, because like, look, if you've been in this live stream long enough, you'll see how many it's like hit or miss, right? You'll have people come in here with like, ew, your beard is gross. Or you'll see like the vomit emojis, right? It'll be like, ew, cut it, right? But then you'll have a whole bunch of people that are like, yo, your beard is sick. Or like, that's an amazing beard, right? So it's hit or miss. But if you think you could pull off a beard and do it however you want to do it, hey, I say go for it. Why not? But as far as um what I was telling Eker, like, I appreciate the compliment and with the beard. And like, I want to get into like dance, get back into dance, that is, and like take certain dance classes. So if you want to get back into martial arts, the first opportunity you get, don't let the time go by. Like, do it. It shouldn't just be resolved for like, I want my kid to do it. Like, no, why not you? Get your kid to do it and you do it. You know? Otherwise, like, time is just going by where you're saying, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And like, before you know it, 6 years passed and you're still like, I want to do this, I want to do this. 3 more years passed. It's almost been 10 years. 9 years has passed and you still want to do it. So make sure you have a plan, you stick with it, don't let up on it, and make it happen. That's what I say. I know I'm going to do it, and I'm going to share it with you all. Now that I'm here in YouTube land and I like it, I actually enjoy being here. Yeah, I'm going to share all of this. Bro, right now, I couldn't even imagine doing a leg raise with what's going on with this like pull that I got going. But yeah, it's like those are all great things to do. And you don't have to go back into martial arts to just, be active, you know? You don't even have to go to a gym. Yeah, that's crazy. you know? Like, yeah, snapshot. It's one of those things, you know? But yeah, I just, I hope like we all get to places where I understand there are rules of engagement, rules and regulations for everything, but I I'm definitely not a funny guy. My humor is very dry. It just comes however it comes, you know? You're stuck with me. But I hope we all get to places where we all kind of just are not told what we have to do or else, you know? And if we get to that place, and that's what I try and like implement with this channel, it's like I do whatever the hell I want to do, you know? And no one's going to tell me otherwise. As long as I'm not reckless and I don't violate rules here, because it's not my platform, right? But I do what the hell I want to do. And I think that's where we have to get in life, where we get to that place where as long as we're not violating, but we're not violating, but we get to do what we want, right? That's the goal, you know? Yeah, balance, find the balance, Eker, and make it happen, you know? And and once you do that and you balance it into your daily regimen, amazing, right? That's what I did. Because I started with, like, we were talking about hiking, right? I was just walking for a year and a half. I was doing nothing else. I wasn't even doing calisthenics. And then slowly but surely, I started doing calisthenics. And then I was like, I'm going to get back to the gym. I'm going to do weights again. I'm going to do resistance. And then I finally got back to doing resistance. And I just started, actually. It's been like, what, maybe a month and a half? And I just got back into it. So now I'm doing calisthenics, resistance, and getting my steps. So it feels good. My beard is kind of dry, Emmanuel. I'm not gonna front. I gotta get it. You know, I gotta do something here. I appreciate the compliment, Emmanuel. I feel pretty now. But other than that, like 7-7, the freedom is important. And I feel like such is the ethos in life. Like if we can have that way of thinking and actually achieve it, that's what I want to pass energy wise in here. Every single time you see me, it's like, how snapshot, right, was like badass. I'm assuming you were talking about the beard, but it's like badass in life, like everything you do is badass. Like I do what the hell I want to do, and no one can stop it. That's the energy. Like 2026 is badass energy. And I don't mean in a negative way. I mean badass, like we do what the hell we want to do and we're succeeding. We're achieving a greatness and we're accomplishing things. We are achieving greatness, plain and simple. I'm getting close to 50 now, Emmanuel, and it took me 5.5 years this last time. So yeah. You know what, James? That's extremely important to make that. See, like, I got to a place where, as a man, I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm almost 50, and it took me 5.5 years. I appreciate it, Movado. There was a time when I was so infatuated with getting big as a man, James, and it was like, okay, I gotta get big. I gotta get big. It's like you're so obsessed with getting big, right? Do you know how much of like blessing it is to let that go? It was like a weight was lifted off my shoulder, no pun. So that now whenever I go to the gym, I don't have in my mind like I have to be big because I'm a man and you have to be masculine and big. Like, no, when I let that go, And it's no longer me chasing, like, if someone wants to be like, oh, you're scrawny, your arms are small, your body's skinny, or like, what, it doesn't even faze me because I let that go. And it's like, I'm good now, you know? And likewise, when it comes to James, like you were saying, with like willing to take a pay cut to have more time to do the things you want to do, in a lot of ways, that's an amazing revelation. And if you can stick to that and actually do it and say to yourself, in order for me to have more actual free time to do the things I want to do, like I'm willing to sacrifice here and not be so obsessed with it, you've leveled up, you know? So I respect that. It's a big one. Hey, sometimes in life we see things that we would have never believed we'd actually see, Cod, like Sasquatch, Bigfoot. Yeah, some of us exist. We're out here. You just had to come to the right place, and now you're here. So welcome and Merry Christmas to you. Yeah, I'm a tall king. I'm shorter than you, Emmanuel. So it's I appreciate it, God. It's one of those things, you know. But I'm I'm not obsessed anymore with getting big. And one more thing about that, James, I truly believe in the same thing. If you're because if you're willing to sacrifice the so-called things that we all think we have to do more of the things we want to do, major level up in life, you know? And if you can truly appreciate that, genuinely appreciate that, wow, you're going to be so happy, so much happier, you know? And that's just, I think, levels that all of us have to achieve. And for me, not obsessing over getting big as a man, that was a major level up for me. Because my whole life I was like obsessed about, I gotta gain weight, I gotta get big, I gotta get strong, you know? And I was already strong naturally, I was athletic, etc. But to get that out of my whole like I have to do list constantly, I felt free, genuinely free, you know? Yeah, and that's very true, Movado. It's like you're right. It wasn't feeding my soul, you know? Because don't get me wrong, I still want to gain. I still want to get strong. I still want to get big, but in a totally different way now. Like I said, I could gain 15, 20, 25 pounds in weeks, right? Like less than 3 months. But do I want to do that? No. I can gain 15 pounds in 3 years and be content and slow down. I don't know if that's maturity or what, but shoot, I'm with it. And now it's like, anyone that comes with, like, it doesn't matter if it's in, because people who are anonymous in YouTube or wherever throughout social media sometimes are not so nice, right? And sometimes what people say here is not what you would say directly to a person. And that's unfortunate, because whatever I say here, and this is just me, but whatever I say here to you is what I would say to you in person. That's the difference. OG, what's up, Sham? And not everyone is like that. And sometimes people say mean things, but none of it phases me. You got to have thick skin and you got to be able to swerve the not so nice energy, you know? And yeah, Manuel, I agree with that. Like having lean muscles is beautiful because you don't want to look good in clothes and then look sloppy out of clothes, whether you're a guy or a girl, right? You want to look like you want to have the sleeper build. like you, guy or girl, when you come out those clothes, it's like Superwoman or Superman, you know? That's what you want to be like, you know? And yeah, 7-7 is like, if you have thick skin, you could swerve a lot of the negativity. Cause I don't necessarily just have to have positive energy. Like if someone says, okay, you look good or whatnot, well, I'm gonna appreciate that, right? If someone talks about the beard and says something like, that's crazy, like, yeah, of course, like I'm human, right? So I'm gonna like positive feedback. And if it's, negative feedback, it's like, I don't know you, you know? Maybe if you've done like 5 live streams with me, maybe we can joke like that, but just coming out the blue and being nasty with negative energy, like I don't know you. Like why would you attack me? We can't joke like that yet. Because I wouldn't do that to you in person and you probably wouldn't do that to me in person, right? So we're still people like with yeah, maybe this is separating us, but this is real energy, you know? So that's why I don't really feed into the negativity. And I might just say thank you to the positives, right? Because if someone, look, you didn't have to say no homo, right? But the same way, I don't have to say I'm a heterosexual man, but I've been hit on by plenty of gay guys in my life or by men, and it doesn't phase me. I'm not like so insecure where like I get bent out of shape from that. No, I like, and that's cool. If a gay man is to give me a compliment, I'm going to say thank you because I don't think like if I just told you I'm heterosexual, like you're not going to convince me to like masculine energy in a romantic way, no matter what. You're not going to because I'm just not attracted to it. Like hairy faces and hairy bodies and, male genitalia does nothing for me. It's just what it is. But I can take a compliment and I'm gonna say thank you for it and I'm gonna keep it moving. You know? IP, what's going on? Oh, I got a sub for the beard? We're getting somewhere now. A sub for the beard. Imagine like more people would have sub for the beard alone. Wow. That's amazing. Um, hidden talents? I don't know. Janito, I don't know. Like I could do handstands. I could walk on my hands. I could rap, you know? I don't know. Hidden talents? I don't know. But, you know, I think we all have hidden abilities. I just off the top of my mind, it's not really coming to me, you know? Oh, wow. Solar installation, Emmanuel? Good for you. You know, that's awesome. I have 3 places that all have solar, you know? So I believe in solar. It's actually solar that powers this vehicle right here, because this is an electric vehicle. So the solar actually powers this. So I don't have to I haven't gone to a gas station in years. And at the same time, like the energy cost because of the solar keeps the powering of this vehicle dirt cheap, So I truly believe in solar and I get good range out of this vehicle. So it's a good thing. But and welcome to, the folks that just recently came in. IP, thank you for the compliments. Merry Christmas to you. Greetings to the folks that came in and Merry Christmas to everyone. I hope everyone's doing well and I hope we rock and crush 2026, What country are you in again, Emmanuel? For solar? I we've been having a lot as far as the chat, so I don't remember if you said exactly which country you were in, you know? Nigeria. Oh, Nigeria in the building. Yeah, Nigeria is a powerhouse, you know, in Africa, besides South Africa and a few other places, Ghana, a few places. There's a place, I think it's Rwanda on the East Coast, where Rwanda is like making changes. A lot of countries in Africa are making some big, you know, stepping it up, you know? Like the development is crazy and beautiful. The culture, a lot of people speak English. Obviously, you speak your own languages, multiple languages, but at the same time, it's like a lot of positives coming out of Africa, right? Because it used to be one thing where like the northern parts of Africa were like whatever they were, and like sub-Saharan still had a lot of development to undergo. But now it's like a lot of sub-Sahara is like is really undergoing a lot of changes, you know. And then also, it's not just by the areas by the Congo that have a lot of greenery. Now you have a lot of places that were formerly very dry and are planting a lot of trees, you know? So that's amazing too. I've seen that like plant a tree type of thing in India as well, in like very like drier places. So that's cool too. And I'm sure you are a handsome young man. So good for you, you know? Good for you, Mr. Nigerian King. And yeah, I could imagine that, a lot of countries in Africa are now uh, tech wise incorporating a lot. I see a lot of Africans in crypto as well, which is awesome. No, I don't have any kids. I don't have any kids. No hidden wives, no hidden families and children. Because people always joke with me like, yo, you're like one of those Indians that has like a hidden whole family, right? No, no, I don't. I have no kids, but you know, I have good energy. I know that. I have positive energy. And like I said, 2026 is ours. We are gonna we are gonna annihilate 2026 in the best possible way, you know? Just imagine how we crush 2026. And you're gonna hear me brag about how we're crushing it. Because it's not just gonna be me hogging it all up by myself. I'm gonna be sharing it. Nah, bro. You know, I bro, I'm like 50 years old. Like my cousins are like, we're like damn near getting towards 60. You gotta look for someone who's like maybe a young cousin of mine, and then like see like what friends they have, or what, like I don't know, but nah, I'm not the one. it Yeah, maybe I have that kind of look, like I should be in a Mac truck, like I should be in something high up, you know, and like trucking it for like hours out here, So I get it. I can see it in myself, which is crazy. I don't know what my name would be though, but as long as I'm not doing anything crazy on the road while traveling, probably have like a whole like shipment of something that I'm like bringing from like some department store or supermarket, and then transporting across state lines, Cod. Yeah, exactly. That would be like, imagine like frozen cod from like the supermarket here in the Bronx all the way to like, 2 states over somewhere, like Cincinnati somewhere. That would be crazy. And I'd be believable, right? Be like, this is what I'm doing. This is my job. But shoot, we covered a lot of topics. Codfish are good. Salmon, wild caught, of course. Sardines, mackerel. Pacific Northwest, wild caught. Flesh and bones for calcium and D3. Uh, Bro, what I learned in life is generally speaking, it just doesn't work that way, you know? It just doesn't work that way. I It's almost like a lot of the things we want, the way we want it, like in simple ways, it usually just doesn't work that way, you know? Like we literally have to find the same way I found in this channel how to like make YouTube work, where like I can almost assure you, because this is a long live stream, right? When I post this, when we finally get off and I post this, this live stream is going to have well over 1,000 views, right? And it's probably going to be like 15 to 20 subs, right? I'm just guessing because I'm looking at the engagement. Now, I had to figure that out. So we're talking about like hookups, because what's up, CC? If we're talking about like, because I'm not a matchmaker, right? But like, if we're talking about hookup culture, like, it's one of those things where like either you have to be very outgoing and someone's got to really feel you, and like they have to feel your energy, right? Especially feminine energy. Like if you're a man going for a woman, like she's got to feel your vibe. And it's not just going to be like, yo, hook me up. It's going to be, you can do that. I'm not saying you can't. Obviously you can. But it's like, I don't know you, you know? So how am I going to be like, yo, I just saw someone on a YouTube live stream that was like, yo, hook me up with your like younger cousin. And then I go approach that cousin or like a younger person and be like, yo, I found this guy from like Nigeria on a live stream. I'm in the Bronx, New York. You feel like talking to him? No, it's not gonna work. That's not how it works, you know? And I'm just breaking the whole thing down so you kind of understand like it's not gonna work like that, you know? No woman is going to it's gonna go for that, you know? And if she does, she's just like she's extremely open-minded to be able to. But generally speaking, feminine energy is a little bit more reserved and cautious around men in general. So I don't think it's gonna work, you know? I'm just letting you know from experience. Not that I have, like maybe when I was young, like back in the days when we had like AOL, we had AOL Messenger back in the days. I don't know if people are in here that are that old, but like we would have like rooms. You know how like in Reddit right now, or like yeah, like Reddit. You know how you have subreddits? Like back then we had like rooms you could go to. Like, okay, this is the Latino room, and like this is the, you know, the Indian chat, and this is the like West Indian chat. It's like, you know, like we had MySpace and all this stuff. Like it usually doesn't work. Like you have to have something that really is appealing. And then most of the time it's like you don't even know who you're going after, you know? It's one of those things. But you gotta find something. First and foremost, you gotta get yourself right. You know, you gotta get your money right. You gotta get your mind right. You gotta get your body right. You gotta get your everything has to be in order. Generally speaking, in my humble opinion, women are attracted to that. If you have everything in order, now you're a catch. And if you really want a female, it's not going to be difficult for you. If you have everything in order. No, you're going to attract them. So you don't have to go out looking for anyone. It's going to come to you, you know? But you have to work on yourself first, no matter what. That's the first thing. Yeah, it's all right. You know, I'm just letting you know what my opinion is here. This is just what I think, you know? I mean, I could be wrong, but based on like my experience and what I believe, that's what I think. And I sure as hell don't think like I can set you up with anyone just off of like just a random live stream where you just came in and, off the first, like, Emmanuel seems like a good person from Nigeria. I don't know anything about him, but do you want to speak to him? Mm-mm. It's not going to happen. I know. But yeah, work on yourself and you're going to attract any type of energy you want, you know, and it's going to come. You just keep chipping away at it. I can't. I can't. Like, because I'm a realist, right? I'll give you the real. And the fact of the matter is, like, if I was in Nigeria and I was out there and we linked up and it's like, bro, can you help me get a girl? No, but I'll help you help yourself get a girl. But like I'm over here in the Bronx, New York, USA, and you're in Nigeria, it's not gonna work. If I was over there and like, I don't know, maybe I have some sort of energy that can make this somehow work. And if you got yourself, but then again, like I said, if you had everything in order, you wouldn't even ask me that question. You wouldn't even need me whatsoever. You would just be able to attract it yourself. So that's just what it comes down to. I feel like this is like hair that's like out of place. Not that my beard isn't totally unruly right now, because it is, but it's just one of those things where it's like annoying me. Nah, your fate has already been, totally put out there. It's, I'm not trying to, shatter your dreams and shoot all of that down, but like I said, I broke the whole thing down in detail. It's just, as a realist, I'm telling you, in my humble opinion, that's just not how it's gonna fly. It's just not gonna work like that. So you gotta, like I said, you gotta work on yourself, bruh. That's just what it comes down to. Yeah, well, you know, you have to you have to find that delicate balance, you know, and you have to kind of like determine what is best for you. I feel you. I feel you. But, you know, I'm not the one. I'm not gonna be able to do anything. Shoot. Because I wouldn't even take that on to begin with. Because because this goes back to what we were talking about earlier with distractions, you know? I like, shoot, I'm so engrossed in what I'm trying to do for myself. Like, I'm not gonna be over here, no matter, what kind of nice energy you bring. I'm not gonna spend my time distracting myself to play matchmaker for you. It's not gonna happen. I got too much that I have to focus on, and right now the throbbing pain in my left glute, my left butt cheek is killing me. So that's just what it comes down to. You're gonna have to get a gift elsewhere. It's not gonna be me being the link up for you. Santa's gonna have to come present you with something else. That's just how I see it. I hope your 2026 is more fruitful though. If you're trying to find some ladies in your life or whatever's trying to wind up happening, whatever's gonna wind up happening for you, hopefully it's a good thing. You know. Welcome, welcome. Hopefully everything's going well. Merry Christmas. And I hope 2026 is a solid one for you. I don't know what that I don't actually know what that acronym stands for. So, I'm not exactly sure what WSG is. But yeah, Alice, hopefully you're well too. We're over here just, you know, just kicking it, talking crap, about like me not being a matchmaker because I'm almost very convinced that feminine energy is not going to be just cool with random male energy trying to be hooked up with that, like, she is not aware of, you know? Like, you as a female, you don't know anything about this person. This person is trying to get hooked up with you. And I'm sure you're probably going to be a little bit, you know, cautious. So that's what I was just talking about. But appreciate the well wishes. Season's greetings to you and yours. And what's up, Proco? Proco by Dank. Proco by Dank. What's up? Greetings and welcome. Merry Christmas. Wow, I think let's just do the math. Yo, we are almost at 4 hours. Are we really almost at 4 hours with this live stream? 4 hours? That is nuts. Yo, in 20 minutes, it's going to be 4 hours. What? I've never done a live stream that long. I swear to you, with the thumbnail, like with my parents on the thumbnail and Blessings Forever, I was like, all right, I'll make this a quick one. Like, we'll go like 20, 30 minutes, whatever. You know, maybe we stretch it to an hour. And I still remember when I was by the gas station, and it was like going towards an hour. We're almost at 4 hours right now. That is nuts. That is crazy. The time just flew. You know, I'm in such pain right now that it's like, look, put this seat warmer back on. So much time flew that it was like, I wasn't even, that's crazy. You know, I must have some like YouTube live stream stamina for real, for real. I even got a sub off my beard today, which was a first. First of all, I've never done a live stream that was like 4 hours, and I never got a sub for my beard where they were like, "Oh, I'm subbing." She was like, "I'm subbing because of your beard." My cherry has been popped not once but twice on the same live stream. That's crazy. Hey, we do it. Listen, why do a podcast when we are the podcast? And we do the podcast for real every single day. We make it happen. It's just us. I don't have to have somebody else here where just, this is your TV where you're just listening to me and someone else talk all day. No, it's you, and every other person here that we all get to do a podcast with one another, on whatever we feel like talking about. And it's always going to be that way. Like I said, no one's getting banned. No one's getting restricted. No one's getting tossed out. Whatever people want to spam or talk about, everything goes. And it's always going to be like that, So we are the podcast. Just like the other day when the gym was closed, it's like the whole world is our playground, So when the gym is closed, we can just go outside and make it happen. Doesn't matter if it's 33 degrees Fahrenheit outside. We just make it happen. I just put the hoodie on and just keep moving. Stay warm. Before you know it, like 10 minutes in, I'll be warm enough to like keep going and not even worry about this. Especially if it's a still night where the wind's not blowing, we're good. The world is our playground. The world is our gym. And we are the podcast. So we talk about whatever we want to talk about, But yeah, that's crazy. 4 hours. That is nuts. Hey, there's a first for everything, Just like someone said, they never saw a black Viking before. They seen one for the first time today, right? Hey, it is what it is, The first for everything. Just like a sub for the beard and a 4-hour live stream. Because I have the stamina to do so. Oh yeah, like yeah, I just do it because I like to, you know? So I just like my mind is like that, where it's like I'm constantly racing, where it's just like I go, okay, I'm just gonna post, I'm gonna post. Because sometimes I like I was saying earlier, it's like you want your friends and family to be in with you on whatever you're doing, and those are the people that like you want to share your stuff with, and they don't want to share it with you. So it's like, you know what? I'm over here being appreciated by strangers more than I do with my own friends and family. So it's like I had to like kind of divert my attention away from friends and family because I felt like I wasn't being appreciated. So it's like, boom, over here, it's like my mind is racing. So it's like, boom, I'm I'm making, excuse me, I'm making everything go, you know, like every time I have an idea, I'm just posting it. Sometimes people be like, well, he's too like erratic with how his thoughts are. Well, that's me. If you don't like it, shoot, you can scroll elsewhere. But I just like to, I'm curious. So I just want to put it out there, you know? Oh, good for you, Proco. Hope that goes well, you know? But I'm going to keep doing it. Like, I can imagine, shoot, if it's over 2K videos, in 1 year, because it wasn't that much. And then I just started going nuts. But shoot, 2026, it's probably gonna go crazy, right? It's probably gonna like double. This is gonna go to like 5K videos, and I don't care. Like, it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, you have like 5,000 videos and you only have 5,000 subs. Like, I could care less, Because sometimes people like they troll like that. It's like, yo, you're doing all of this stuff, you're outputting like crazy, and it's like, what are you getting out of it? It's therapy, you know? So I appreciate it. But yeah, other than that, like I bet you the sun is about to come up shortly. And that's nuts. Because we've been on this for so long that I literally have been yapping away to the sun came out. Quite literally, which is crazy. How do you I didn't even think I could talk that long. Where I'm talking for 4 hours straight, you know? That's that's something else, you know. But hey, we just keep it moving. And like I said, 2026 is ours. We're gonna crush it. And if I turn 2.2 into 4.4 or 5, then that's what would it be. And that so be it. That's what we make happen. But listen, I think I'm going to like I'm gonna yeah, it's about that time. I'm gonna cut it short, and I'm gonna keep it moving, and I'm gonna test out my leg, and hopefully I don't have a crazy limp when I finally get out of this vehicle. And yeah, I'm gonna say, I appreciate every single person who came out today, and I appreciate and value your time. Thank you for checking, especially on a a Christmas day like this. And I wish every person a Merry Christmas. Have a great one today. Blessings to you too and yours. And until the next time we do this again, you know, we'll do it shortly. And enjoy the rest of your day.